U.S. illegally. Yves Palayo was promised a car in return. They will each have to pay a $100 fine. And the JCB Plaza Lounge Guam, located in the plaza in Tumon, will be reopening after the renovation is completed today. To celebrate the reopening, JCBI will be running a promotion from May 2 to September 29, offering a gift to visitors. JCB Plaza Lounge is an exclusive service counter and lounge for JCB card members located in major tourist destinations. JCB is a major global payment brand and a leading credit card issuer and acquirer in Japan. And those are your local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
Okay, that fake marriage thing kind of freaked me out because you mentioned three names, right? In that story, I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on.
One's the schemer, two are the couples.
Okay, gotcha. That's the way the way that worked out. I just thought maybe we were because there is now a thing called a throuple.
What?
Yeah. There's I know. Roll your eyes, right? There's now a thing called a throuple. And the way the throuple works, and where I saw this actually was a story about, and in this case, it's three guys in the throuple, and all three of their names are on the birth certificate for a kid, which I don't think any of the three guys that were in there.
What? Three men and a baby?
Yes, three men and a baby. Okay, but you remember in that movie the baby actually came out of a biological woman?
Oh, it did.
Yeah. That was that. Yeah, but and it's a different story. But there are things like that are out there. It is a brave new world, isn't it? Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. 6:38 in the morning. It looks like all the streams are back up, and I will, like the guy in Titanic on the breaker, see to it that we can stay up at least for the next 3.5 hours or so. If you missed the first part of it, spend some time with Cousin Troy, and that will be available one way or the other in some kind of an archival form, maybe. Donna D is taking care of news. What do I got to do? We got to do traffic and more after these.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Subway's new Subway Series menu is a collection of greatest hits. But my number 7, the Mexicali, is on a whole nother level with the way avocado meets chicken and pepper jack cheese.
Outlaw! You tell them, Raiden. That's the number 2, the Outlaw Sandwich. They don't know flavor.
It's the greatest cheesesteak hit with juicy steak, pepper jack, and Baja Chipotle sauce. There's a better meat and cheese pairing than that. Shanzi, justify my point, please.
Meatball, pepperoni, and mozzarella. That's number 6, the Boss Sandwich, because we're the bosses of flavor. We're done here.
At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Express yourself into the groove. The Guam Chamber of Commerce celebrates its 99th anniversary at the Dusitani Resort on May 6th with the theme of Madonna's Vogue. The Chamber's membership includes many corporations, large and small, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit organizations. Members play a key part in making Guam a star-bright place to live, work, and play. Let's congratulate the Guam Chamber of Commerce and its members on celebrating its 99th anniversary.
6:40 in the morning. I can see it. I can't put it up on the screen. Mean Machine's going to be offline probably for the foreseeable rest of the morning, but that's all right. I see what's going on. And there's not a whole lot going on. A little bit of traffic in front of Anderson Air Force Base as you make your way out of the village and move south. Not a whole lot of traffic at all through Dededo. You're not going to see anything until right after you pass the intersection of 1 and 3 over by Guam Regional Medical City. Nothing at 16 all the way to 8, 10, and 16 running fairly clear here this morning. And not a whole lot of dogging out traffic yet on Route 8. Route 4 looking pretty good. Don't see hardly anything that's going to slow you down on Route 10 where all of the schools are. And I suppose that's all right. Nothing major. Southbound Marine Corps Drive looking good over Cherry like Auntie Mary over at Big Navy in Sumai. Now's a good time for the guy on the radio to say, enjoy the drive.
Join us at Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro and see why they've been crowned Guam's best Chamorro food restaurant for 9 consecutive years. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet burgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña location from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for dinner, or 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for their famous Sunday brunch.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
I think I can do that. 6:41 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at NissanGuam.com and the World Wide Web. This is the weekend to test drive a Nissan Frontier. All new, ground up. You're going to love the technology. You're going to love the safety. You're going to love the secure way you feel while you're on Guam's roadways and the view from the top of that Nissan Frontier. Test drive today. You could win $1,000. We've also got grills and coolers and canopies to give away. And speaking of more free stuff, how about we load up a case of Spam and 25-pound bags of rice when you buy your Nissan Frontier. No money down. You don't have to bring anything in trade. It's great if you do. They'll figure it out and put it on the used car lot. But you absolutely don't need any money down or a trade-in. Nissan Guam will make the first 3 payments. There's details, plenty of them. Find them right now over at NissanGuam.com.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
642, note to self. At the end of the program, I got to clean a hard drive. Yeah, that'll happen every once in a while.
How do you do that, man?
You just empty out the old files.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was looking at it. So it's multiple ways that we keep archives, and for the most part, everything is online. And so I don't know. Once every couple of months, I'm supposed to go and delete all of the old Ray Gibson shows and all the old Bob Klitzky Tall Tales. I know some IT Kuya parts, and apparently I must have forgotten to do that, and the system is grinding itself to a halt, running up against the hard limit of the soft drive. So it should be stable now, knock on wood. But thanks very much for coming back and forth on the Facebook side and the YouTube side. For those of you that are listening on the radio going, oh, I can go back to YouTube or Facebook, you want to go back to the one, the theme is no goating. And you're going to say, oh, my God, you misspelled it again. No. I actually like that better. So not no gloating, but no goading. I think that just sounds like it's a little bit more fun. Ray. Well, I try to be. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can get this on. We should be able to play the audio here of the legislature in the very last minutes of the program yesterday. A lot of people were asking, how did the vote go? And like I said, was it the Adeloop 6 or was it the Adeloop 5, 4, 3, 2? Yeah. And somebody online is now referring to as the Adeloop none. Adeloop, never mind the Adeloop 6. Now it's the Adeloop none. How long do you suppose this coalition is going to be able to stay together this time? But this is what the vote sounded like.
Roll call.
Senator Barnett. Senator Blas. Senator Barnett, aye. Senator Blas, aye. Senator Brown. Senator Brown, aye. Senator Dueñas. Senator Dueñas, aye. Senator Fisher. Senator Fisher, aye. Senator Lujan. Senator Lujan, aye. Vice Speaker Munya Barnes.
Absent.
Majority Leader, Senator Shelton, you're recognized.
Seduce Masi, Madam Speaker, I move to excuse members not present.
On that motion, is there any objection? Seeing no objection, motion carries.
Okay, now at this point, I don't think anybody's surprised by the way any of those votes went down. It sounds like all the right, Chris Barnett's, we have not heard yet from anybody in the Adeloop 6. And Tina, as I said, is excused in this. So let's carry on and
waiting to sip our beer.
We'll see how the rest of this went.
Vice Speaker Munya Barnes excused. Senator Parkinson. Senator Parkinson, aye. Senator Perez. Senator Perez, aye. Senator Kanata. Senator Kanata, aye. Senator San Augustine. Senator San Augustine, aye. Senator San Nicolas. Senator San Nicolas, aye. Senator Shelton. Senator Shelton, aye. Senator Tydegui. Senator Tydegui, aye. Speaker Terlahi. Speaker Terlahi, aye.
And that's really all you need to hear of all of this. At that point, it's done. It is unanimous. 14 members present. All 14 members passed it. Now, I'm wondering if anybody, when they were going down the alphabetical roll call, when they got to Will, or as Bob refers to him as won't. How did that? Is it one of those where they said, okay, what's going to happen here? And they saw his thumb literally go up.
That's all it was,
That's all it was. That was all they needed to do.
Couldn't speak it.
Once they had that one breakaway vote.
So difficult.
Then anybody else, regardless of how you thought the rest of it was going to go, there was really no point for anybody else in the Adeloop 6 to do any other than to vote yes. It was very, very clear which way the wind was blowing on that one. And as a great result, now we've got this override of the governor's veto of Bill 12. Now, that means that if the governor wants to take out a loan, sorry, not a loan, but take out a lease from any government, any federal government or anybody else over 5 years, they got to go through the legislature. And so the governor came out with a statement yesterday, said, well, we're reviewing the thing, and we'll see what happens there. But the question... We didn't have a lot of opportunities. I didn't have a lot of opportunities yesterday to talk to anybody about it. But the other part of the question is, why was there all of a sudden this change of heart? Because it sounded like, Will was kind of, in his groove. If we were going to give the land back to the people, then I'm all for it. But if we're not going to, then never mind. Was how he sounded earlier. I thought St. Nicholas, Kane Dwayne, I thought he was firm in his resolve as well. So what changed? Was it the quality of the speech making? I thought Frank Blas was very direct. I thought Chris Barnett was very direct. They say that the Therese Terlai was very emotional. Was that what swayed these guys?
They came to their senses.
Or they came to their something, or is there something else? Is there something else? Have they not gotten their rice bowl filled by Adeloop? Is it all of a sudden, hey, they're not returning our phone calls over at Adeloop? Maybe we need to sit down and show them that we kind of need each other here. I don't know, man. It's just, every once in a while, I think I'm capable of sinister thought, and that's part of it. It being more of a political body than policy, as you might have heard Chris Barnett talking about yesterday. It seems to me that maybe there were some political missteps that maybe were taken by Adeloop with the Adeloop 6. They weren't feeling appreciated, so they did a little bit of, what do the kids call that? Flex.
Yeah.
Maybe they did a little bit of flex out there. At any rate, we'll be talking about this. We'll find some of the movers and shakers and get their thoughts on how all of that happened. But the next question that we've got to get, and the next thing that we've got to sort out here is, okay, about this net negative thing. The Admirable came out in the middle of some of this conversation and said, well, that's going to be it for the net negative. And I think recently reinforced that with a statement along the lines of, well, we've had to reconfigure our needs on Guam given the saber rattling in China and the missile firing in North Korea. We no longer have any resources that we can return back to the people of Guam. And I'm going, okay, really? Even though you guys aren't using any of it and haven't in a long, long time, and maybe, are we going to put this is where all the different fads are going to go in the Aegis Ashore systems? Is that what we're saying? Is every little nook and cranny that has got a military title on it is no longer up for consideration to come back to Guam? And I think that's a conversation that the legislature needs to pick up. Number one, I don't know that that's a decision that can be made locally, considering it originally came from the guys over in the actual Department of the Navy, where they made those decisions all those years ago and sent that along with other resolutions to sate the politicians here on Guam back in Eddie Calvo's administration. 10 away from the governor ghosted their invitation, says Bob Klitsky. That is his read of the situation, and there might be something along those lines. 888-8255, 888-TALK. It doesn't happen very often, but I got a message in a bottle this morning. Real Joe, when he went outside to check and see if the newspaper was here, there was no newspaper. There was an envelope with my name on it, a message in a bottle. And I thought, well, what's that? Who could that be from? And I don't know. It's still kind of anonymous. But it reads, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now. It reads, Ray, your comment about this entire hospital issue getting off on the wrong foot was spot on. The jockeying has been going on for years, long before the Leon Guerrero administration pushed Eagles Field. And I think this is a great opportunity for everybody to just kind of reset. That's why I'm pretending to not gloat. because I want us to be able to approach the hospital issue, the hospital reboot issue, as brothers and sisters under the Guam flag. It doesn't matter whether you're the governor or the legislature. It doesn't matter if Josh Tenorio wants to run unopposed in 3 years and doesn't want to have to worry about Chris Barnett or Therese Terlai. We just need this great reset. Get all of our great political and policy minds together and start afresh, start anew. You know, let's all meet on the second floor of the Infusion in Tamuning and toast each other with frappuccinos and lattes and start the process all over again. What do you say? Have our kumbaya moment.
It looks like you're gloating, man.
What's that?
It looks like you're gloating.
I know. I had that feeling. So as I said, a great lesson in civics yesterday, listening to some of the speeches, including the one I got from Frank Blas Jr. Buenas and Afide. Daryl, welcome back to the program.
Good morning. This is Ray, right?
This is Ray. No gloating.
Okay.
No gloating, classmate.
Okay, just checking.
Just a little bit. So the question for you this morning is how you feel after that override. Do you have the sense that the body will now, maybe for the remainder of this term, stay as close-knit as it is, as unanimous as they are right now, and really help see to the needs of the people? We still got Bill 83 that's out there, and there's a couple other measures that might extend tax holidays on the liquid fuels tax, or maybe impose tax holidays on groceries and medicine and baby diapers and all of that stuff. You think maybe now we've got a cohesive unit to be able to, in a veto-proof way, move forward with the people's business?
I'm going to pray for that. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I know that we still got a lot of talking to do, a lot of arguing, and for some people, a lot of jockeying. But so, we'll see. I hope.
See, this is the part that ticks me off here. Is we've known each other, man and boy. 50 years. Frank and I have been knocking around together, and he's always been the realist. He's always been the pragmatist, and I'd like to say I've got a little bit of a gleam in my eye, and far more optimism. But yeah, I do. I suppose maybe I am looking through a little bit of rose-colored glasses here this morning.
Well, I mean, there are thinking that it could be possible. And it just, but we can't take it for granted. We just got to continue to work on building the understanding, building the relationships, building the understanding, hopefully to get the consensus, and then move forward from there. But it does show that there is some glimmer of hope.
All right. Well, I'll keep. My glimmer will be brighter than your glimmer, I suppose.
I'll keep the optimism.
There you go. There you go.
As much as good.
Right on. It's 6:54 in the morning. Now, the other reason I wanted to get Frank on the line is you actually sent another letter off to the governor's office. What were the contents of that?
Well, Ray, in her, she had provided some pay raises to members of her cabinet and obviously at least 2 directors, and during the personal actions, I was looking at the dates. Both the effective date and the date that it was submitted, and they were off. And I said, wait a minute. I remember that there was a concern with this when this occurred with another administration, and sure enough, did the research and found that first off, that in the Cabo administration, when Eddie Cabo wanted to give his staff members raises and wanted to make it retroactive, there was a big hoopla on that, so much so that the Attorney General came out with an opinion that it couldn't be done because it was against Guam law, and so did the OPA at the time, Doris Brooks. And so I wrote to the governor. I said, Governor, I understand it's your prerogative to be able to provide pay raises to your people. However, Guam law specifically states that you can't provide these adjustments with retroactivity.
Do you have names and amounts that are probably going to need to be returned?
I do have. Yes, there are names. With regard to the amount, you're talking about 2 individuals that are going to be 61 in a couple of weeks. And don't ask me to try to remember specific numbers.
Well, I'm going to be 61 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. There are parts of our memory that, okay, we can look at it, but we can't remember it. And don't ask me to do that because it was numbers I saw yesterday.
Right.
Not this morning. So,
but
yeah.
the point is they exist. There are individuals for whom they've gotten pay raises, and the pay raises have been made retroactive, contrary to Guam law.
And unfortunately, it was for. I only saw the personnel actions for 7 members of the cabinet, and it was all 7 members. Not only did they get pay raises, but they also got retroactivity on their raises.
Wow.
Which is against the law. Okay, and it's very specific in Title 4, Chapter 6, that retroactivity, retroactive pay, is illegal. As a matter of fact, it's a misdemeanor.
So annoying on top of annoying here is that, number one, those raises went out even before the 22% pay raises for the GPP have gone out. And number two, they are retroactive. I don't think the same thing was done or discussed for members of the GPP.
No, I don't. And it wasn't. And if they are to follow the letter of the law, I don't think you can give GPP yet until you provide some reports to the legislature, because then that also becomes basically a violation of law.
Wow.
And the people that it's not necessarily the individuals that receive the pay that will be in violation of law. It's the individuals that authorized, and signed off and certified that there's pay that basically will break the law.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Well, I remember how it was carefully mishandled during the Calvo administration. I hope they've got sharper minds over there that will just, while it's still fresco, they can go back to these individuals and say, sorry, we missed to have a misstep here, and we're not going to be able to get you that retro. And anything that was provided in retro, we're going to have to take out of your next set of paychecks.
Well, and I tell you what, really more importantly is, I don't think this administration can claim that they knew nothing about it. Some of them who got this raise were the ones that were raising the ire when Eddie Cabo gave it. Okay, so it must be fresh in their minds that, hey, what Eddie Cabo did with his administration, he's doing with mine. Well,
maybe it'll fly here.
It'll fly here.
Okay, 6:59, just a minute to go here, and I've got a request from a well-known customer here, a well-known ratepayer, who would like me to ask you as a favor to put the bill number 83 on the agenda for today.
Well, Andre, we got to look at where the finances are at. I mean, it's not the rosy picture that this administration has been talking about over the last few weeks, and there's some revelations, that they too had caught them off guard, like in the area of contact impact. But now we got to look at, okay, now do we have the money to be able to cover these costs?
Well, in my mind, and I'll be firm here, we had the money for pay raises. We ought to have money, and there's how many more millions of dollars are sitting in the ARP fund, which we should be able to tell the governor now to move from that fund into whatever it's going to take to be able to continue to help people with power bills. The economy is not turning on. The economy is not turned around, Frank, and that's our money.
No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. I was getting to that point.
Okay.
What point I was getting is that she still has $200 million in a bank, in an account, that's labeled American Rescue Plan monies, that could be used without a doubt. It doesn't need legislative approval. She can do it in the snap of her finger to be able to provide it, so we don't have to fight, amongst ourselves to be able to do this. She's got the money to be able to do this. And Governor, please, use the money on the people before Congress takes it back.
Yeah.
Because Congress has made yesterday known that if you don't use that money, we're going to take it back because we need it to pay down our debt.
I thought I heard that when you made your speech yesterday, 7 o'clock in the morning. We're late for Fox News, but critical points that need to get made here is now that they had $10 million that they were going to set aside on this now defunct lease for the Lalu property. Ask me, since you already had it in mind to spend that there, you've already got the money. Why don't you go ahead and put that towards the program and pay raise power bill?
Exactly. She's got the money. It can be done. You know, if you're going to wait for the legislature, it's going to take about 2 months for the process to set in place. And
well, let's start it now. We know that there is some money in the bank that can be appropriated. So start there and just see where it goes. Just after 7 o'clock, Dara, I got to run. You have a great day. Hugging a kiss to Tilly.
All right.
Here comes Fox News on The Point.
From where they are, rather than seeking generous, disorderly pathways. We have been very clear. We are going to put forth an immigration process that is humane, that is orderly.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the new centers aim to cut out human smugglers and reduce the flow to the border. The end of a pandemic-era limit on asylum seekers 2 weeks from now is expected to lead to a bigger surge. The U.S. economy slows down, growing at 1.1% in the first quarter. And stocks rally. The Dow gained 524. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
Podcasts.
Days after signing new gun restrictions, Washington Governor Jay Inslee turns attention to abortion and gender identity.
Governor Inslee says one of the bills is aimed at actions other states take to impose their restrictions on abortion and gender-affirming procedures in Washington. Governor Inslee said the new law will act as a shield
from the intrusion of other states that somehow would try to use our judicial system against this freedom right.
Other bills the governor signed protect personal health data, access to the abortion pill mifepristone, and keeps doctors from being disciplined for providing reproductive and gender-related care. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
One of the 4 inmates who broke out of a Mississippi jail last weekend is recaptured in Houston. Another was killed last night during a shootout with police. The search continues for 2 more. Hundreds of youngsters spend the day at the White House on Take Your Child to Work Day.
President Biden welcomed hundreds of children of administration employees in the White House press corps.
It's a good day. Anybody supposed to have school today? All right. It's a real good day then, isn't it?
Before the greeting, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre met with reporters' kids for a press briefing. That enthusiastic questioner is this correspondent's son. Jean-Pierre fielded questions about the president's travels, school violence, the climate, and the president's favorite sports teams. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
This is the 30th anniversary of what began as Take Our Daughters to Work Day. It's a big day for football fans. The NFL draft begins tonight with the 2nd and 3rd rounds tomorrow and the rest on Saturday. The Panthers and the Texans have the top 2 picks. Elisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Burger King's new spicy chicken fries are now available for a limited time only. All white meat chicken fries, taken up a notch with spicy flavor and heat added to the breading. Your choice of the classic chicken fries or the new spicy chicken fries. Perfect for dipping in any of our delicious sauces. Add a side of mozzarella sticks and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. BK Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, Mike Venetia Mall, and the airport. You rule.
Guam Regional Medical City was awarded Advanced Primary Stroke Center certification from the Joint Commission. What does this mean? It means our neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and a team of the finest neurological doctors to treat stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC, reflecting our commitment to providing safe and quality patient care. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu or to make an appointment, call 671-633-GRMC. City.
This spring, shop on over to the Micronesia Mall and enter to win. Redeem receipts totaling $10 or more. Scratch for a chance at instant prizes from Burger King or Foot Locker. Or receive a grand prize entry form for a drawing on May 6th for a chance to win a new Toyota Tacoma 4x4 SR5 off-road package with lift kit from Atkins Kroll Toyota. 10 lucky runners-up will get $250 gift certificates from Goodwin Travel and Tour for tickets to Philippine Airlines. Shop more, win more at the Micronesia Mall. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Donna De Jesus. Here's a look at your local news on The Point. 16-year-old Daphne Andon is being charged as an adult for his involvement in the Wan Chai Chinese restaurant burglary. The burglary was captured on the building surveillance camera. Andon, 18-year-old Joy Aki, and 2 other minors met at the Dedido skate park before they went to the American Grocery parking lot to look for money so they could buy snacks. Aki told police Andon noticed the shutters of the Wan Chai Chinese restaurant unsecured when they decided to break in to steal money. Aki gave a concrete block to Andon to open the door. Andon and a 14-year-old boy went inside and took the cash register. After they realized there was no cash, they stole beer and fled the scene. The 2 unnamed teens were also taken into custody. And after a decade of promises to get a new Simon Sanchez High School built, it was revealed by GDOE that the design for the construction is already complete. Bill 94 is the latest attempt by lawmakers to make good on the promise, but Guam Education Board Vice Chair Maria Gutierrez says the board had not been informed about the design. It's unclear when the design for the new campus was completed, but it was clear that GDOE didn't notify any of the relevant agencies or even the Ed Board, which oversees the department. It's expected to take at least 3 years to build the new campus, and the clock is ticking on some of the $166.3 million expense to be shouldered by GDOE as COVID-19 relief funds dry up in 2024. Without a copy of the design, Senator Sabina Perez questioned financing and funding and also questioned whether a without consent clause was the right decision. Gita says the Sanchez project follows the same model of financing for construction as was used to build JFK and other GDOE schools. More news after this.
For all your real estate needs, call the professionals at Hoffaday Realty. Jody, Saran, Libby, and Lolita, and they'll take care of you on every step of the real estate process. No worries. Just contact Hoffaday Realty at 588-4232 or 588-HOFFA or email them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. They're at 426 Challenge San Antonio, Suite 204 in Tamuning. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Hoffaday Realty for all your real estate needs.
The Public Defender Service is losing one of its attorneys to the prosecution. Executive Director Stephen Hattori announced his office will be losing one of its defense attorneys, Gloria Rudolph, to the AG's office. Hattori mentioned the increasing pressure the office is facing since the passage of Public Law 36-107, the current budget law which gave prosecutors a 15% pay increase, while public defenders received 6%. He said his office is actively recruiting, but told the board it's becoming more difficult to recruit attorneys. Supreme Court Chief Justice Robert Torres said there has also been a significant drop in applications for law clerks and research attorneys at the judiciary. AG Doug Moylan confirmed Rudolph's move and adds that he is in the process of bringing several others aboard. He ultimately wants to bring the number of prosecutors up to about 21. And the Island Beautification Task Force is making slow progress from abandoned buildings to abandoned vehicles to derelict buildings. The Guam EPA says about 250 abandoned vehicles have been collected from villages to the tune of about $147,000. But Public Works Director Vince Areola shared his disappointment that a construction site along Maimai Road in Chalampago had been littered with new junk cars. He pointed out that unless the mindset of the community is changed, junk cars will always be a problem for the island. Guam State Clearinghouse... Oh, shoot, I didn't put her 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 title. Stephanie Flores says Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio formed the Abandoned Vehicle Working Group to educate the community and stakeholders on the processes required by the law. Flores says one of the challenges is the process is very cumbersome, specifically the notice requirements in the current law. There are currently 100,000 registered vehicles on the island, with roughly 11,000 new vehicles registered each year. And those are your top stories. Back to Ray with weather.
It's 10 after 7 o'clock in the morning, and the legislature is actually on it here. Sabina Perez, Chris Duenas, and Chris Barnett have introduced Bill number 104 that would create a distinction. When they mention, they say, okay, we've got an abandoned vehicle, and we have to go through all of these steps to notify the owner and blah, 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 and it takes a long time, and the vehicles never get cleared off before they've already been Saki-Milania'd by the Saki-Milanias that are out there. So what they've got here is a piece of legislation that will create a distinction between an abandoned vehicle and a junk vehicle. Are you ready? That's basically it. Is you just go, okay, the car's here. Not too far off from some of the things that we spouted about on the program. You go, okay, the car's here, and you come back to it. You put a sign on it that says, listen, if you're not here, this car's not here by tomorrow, then we're going to declare this junk, like littering. And we will take steps. Once they decide that it is a junk vehicle, not an abandoned vehicle, then they can go ahead and call the Massey and have it moved off. That is, if they have the money for all of that. I've read the piece of legislation, and for the most part, kind of agree with it. But there's not a whole lot by way of who's going to be responsible for all of this, where the vehicle is going to be going, fees, and all of those things that the guys over at the EPA are going to have to put together on their own. 12 after 7 o'clock in the morning. The weather for the weekend, gorgeous. It's going to be incredible. Mostly sunny in the forecast for today. Mostly sunny Saturday. Mostly sunny on Sunday. If you come to work on Monday and your skin is still, all white and all of that stuff and just kind of pinky like that, a little undercooked, then you're doing Guam wrong. Expect mostly sunny skies all the way through the weekend. It'll be windy in some places as high as 28 miles an hour, and that's just because we've got the remnants of Sanvu in the area. Sunset tonight going to be at 6:36. Heat index going to make it feel like 92 degrees. Wait a second, I didn't do sunset right. Sunset tonight, 6:36. Hashtag tell the others. There it is. News and weather together. This is The Point. In celebration of our 34th anniversary on Guam, BK Melts are now available. Our classic melt features 2 flame-grilled Whopper Junior patties, a quarter-pound, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce on 2 slices of toasted bread. BK Melts are also available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our super fans. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Sprite. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. BK, Tumon Bay, Agutya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. You rule. I'm sorry, I'm completely and totally distracted right now by something I saw on CNN's Twitter feed.
Is it about lemon?
No, it's about a 40-pound cat.
Oh, sweet.
40-pound cat. I can't show the picture up on the screen. Just go to CNN's website or their Twitter feed.
Kid.
Yeah, right? 40-pound cat.
What kind of cat is it?
A fat one. That's what kind of cat it is.
But maybe like if it's like a Maine Coon, it's a big cat anyway.
Well, I think it's just a regular house cat that they managed to just feed way too much and no extras. Can you imagine? When the cats get crazy and they run from one side of the house to the other really, really fast and jump on you while you're laying on the couch. This thing could kill you if it jumped on you while you were on the couch.
He probably can't jump. He's too big.
There's probably that. Probably can't see his feet. It's 7:14.
What a cutie pie.
I know it. And on the Ray Gibson Show, what was I supposed to say? Portions brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Oh, my God. John Coleman says, sorry, I blocked CNN on Twitter, and a growing number of people that are blocking Fox News on Twitter as well. And one of the reasons why is Fox, what was it yesterday? There was, now that Tucker's gone, and I think they've lost some of the focus in the Fox newsroom. They did a story yesterday that just got totally ratioed on Twitter because it was a story about some woman in Utah who's drawn attention to herself because she was showing too much cleavage at the gym.
Oh, where do I find that?
You see, unblock your Fox on Twitter. 7:15 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show. And I played for you earlier the audio of the roll call over at the legislature. And unmissable, not to be missed, Chris Barnett, who, when they said his name, said what? There we go. You can hear that even though your microphone was off. People in Dedido said they're doing the vote now. I can hear Chris. Congratulations. I don't want to say, no gloating, but yeah, let's do a couple of gloating victory laps here. The 37th Guam legislature, and what I hope is a sign of things to come in the future, showed some backbone, showed some strength, showed some unity yesterday, and a strong desire, at least at the outset, to indicate that they really sincerely want to be the second equal branch of government.
Yeah, I just got to first thank my colleagues. I always said from the beginning that I felt like the deeper we got into this issue, the more information we got on it, that they would really have no choice but to support this override, because I think the argument was very clear. And, no matter what has happened from the moment we passed this bill unanimously to the moment we overrode the veto unanimously, the point to me has remained the same, and that's that we have a responsibility to review, vet, and approve any project, lease, proposal that obligates the people of Guam's money. And, there's a whole lot of the people of Guam's money in here. And, I think Senator Dwayne St. Nicholas was the first one to really, I sat next to him in a public hearing last week, and we were kind of side-chatting, and he was asking me about building the hospital up at Eagles Field versus, building it at Oka Point, and just like what were the opinions on it. And I gave him my take, but I could tell that he was starting to really, like he said, he had gone out and talked to people in his floor remarks. And, I think he, a lot of times we get in our bubble and we don't really talk to people outside of it. And sometimes it could be a real eye-opener when you finally talk to people who just have differing opinions. And I think he, talked to one and just kept hearing more and more about just some of the issues with this proposal. And I think, at the end of the day, there's a good faith effort from not just him, but the other Democrat colleagues also came along. And I think that they want to review this. There's a commitment from the body to let's look at this up, down, sideways, and let's make sure it's a good deal. If it's not a good deal, then let's agree to move on. So, I saw Adaloop's press release, and I kind of had to chuckle because they said they're considering their options, but I don't know if they have options other than if they're going to ignore the law, because we now have a law that we overrode that says that we're required to review and approve.
Well, what they're going to do, Chris, is they're going to put together leases that expire after 4 years, 364 days, and then just renew it time after time after time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. It would not beyond the veil that we've seen come out of Adaloop over the last 4.5 years or so. I thought it was very interesting. But the other thing that we've really got to get to here is an answer to a question that came up in the middle of all of the conversation, and I think now it has to be the central conversation. Is the Admiral Nicholson made the claim now that the one of the 4 pillars of the agreement between the Department of the Navy and the government of Guam from a long, long time ago was net negative here. Excess lands were going to be returned to the government of Guam, and it sounds like that conversation was taken off the table in the middle of all of this drama. Now that the drama looks like it may have passed, we've got to address that comment. Is he capable of making that decision? Is that decision in writing from the Department of Navy in Washington, D.C.?
Ray, what I'm trying to figure out with this admiral and just the swag that he has out here, and it's not just on our island. He's all over the island. I'm wondering if the Department of the Navy and Department of Defense has given him a lot of leeway, considering our position in terms of the China threat. And so he's been over the FSM a lot, and he's been pushing his weight around there. I think he kind of plopped himself squarely in the compact impact renegotiation. So, I'm curious about that. But the problem we have, and it's going to be the same problem we have with this lease unless the governor and the lieutenant governor kind of come to their senses, is the legislature. We can write letters, we can sit down, we can even get the delegate, the AG involved. But, if our Magahaga and our top elected officials and the governor and the lieutenant governor aren't on board with us with that one Guam voice, then, I'm not sure how much substance our conversations are going to hold. And I think that, we have done every single thing that we possibly could have done with this Eagles field law lease. We have begged, we have pleaded, we have written letters, we have invited the governor, lieutenant governor down to the people's house to talk about it. We have passed legislation. We have had legislation vetoed. We have tried to override a veto. We have failed. And finally, we have succeeded. And so as a body, I'm confident today in my colleagues. I'm very thankful, humbled, and grateful that they kind of, and I always said it again, I'm going to go back to it, the deeper we got into it, the more they would see just the basic facts of this issue. And I think, it started with Senator St. Nicholas, who's very reasonable. I think, and my read on Senator St. Nicholas is he doesn't want to be pushed one way or another. What he wants is he wants to assemble the facts in front of himself and talk to people on both sides.
He's a good businessman.
Yeah, a good decision accordingly. And so, for me, Ray, the big turning point was when Senator Parkinson walked into the session hall. He was a little bit late, right? And we didn't know. And I feel like looking at where Senator Parkinson is on a vote or on an issue is a good read on where, a couple or maybe even up to 4 or 5 of the other colleagues will go. And so when he sat down next to me, I scooted my chair over and I said, "Where are you at on this?" And he goes, "You convinced me." And so I felt like, again, the arguments were very compelling, and it reached a point in this issue where if you didn't support this override, you were kind of going to be out on a limb all by yourself. And when Dwayne, Senator St. Nicholas came over and then Senator Parkinson came over, I really figured that it was only a matter of time before the rest came over, because or else you're sitting in a situation where you're all the way out on a limb, whether or not it's for ad loop or whatever. You just don't want to be in a position where you're just looking common sense in the face of.
Once I saw Will Parkinson's thumb, once I saw Will's thumb go up, I knew the conversation was over. That was the 10th vote that you needed to get the override done. Otherwise, and you're right, everybody else, the decision had already been made with that one thumbs up, so they might as well just go ahead and continue to carry the water that way. 7:22 in the morning. One last thing before I let you go and get into the economics portion of this program here is my own personal economics. I don't want to see that $100 a month credit on my power bill go away. I don't know that Frank was convinced that we ought to put it on the session agenda today. You might be able to put it on the session agenda so that we can deal with it. If anything, go into the committee of the whole and bring in the BBMR and the Department of Administration and see where we can find the money to support another 5 months.
Yeah, I don't see how you can oppose this energy credit measure. I mean, to me, if we're gonna wet the beak of the businesses, then we got to do the same for the people of Guam.
We're going to wet the beak of the Guam employees and now employees at the governor's office that apparently are getting raises that are retroactive, according to Frank Blas, illegally. Then I think there might be some money left around, left over, so that we can provide some relief to the ratepayers. Glad you and I are on the same page on this one as well.
We're gonna work hard to get that on the agenda. I expect a little bit of pushback, but the committee report has been filed. The bill's up on the website, and this is not some sinister, devious measure. This is it's really cut and dry. We've done it before. The people of Guam, they need the assistance, and I want to do the best I can along with my colleagues, and of course, Speaker Theresa Lai, to push this measure out on the floor, and not just to do that, but to get it passed and to find the funding for it. And I think that we have the support of the people of Guam. And so, I'm going to talk to the minority leader, Senator Frank Blas Jr. I think for the Republicans, it might be a question of which one of these things are we going to take care of first. But I think, again, that we can take care of them both at the same time. And
don't see why
that's what we're going to try and do today.
All right. Senator Chris Barnett, appreciate your time here. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. Quick look at what happened on the market. You ready to go, Real Joe? Hit me up with the music here. I've got the S&P 500 finally in the green this week, 79 points in the green, as a matter of fact. NASDAQ picked up 287. Dow Jones Industrial Average virtually wiped out any of the losses they got this week. They're up by 524 points. Good day in the American markets here. The FTSE is down by 21. Nikkei is up by 41. I got 83 points in the green for the Hang Seng Index, and Shanghai is up by about 22 points. Good for them. The Victory Index, no, I'm sorry, that's not what that stands for. Some say the Misery Index, moving backwards here by a couple of points, and the DAX is green by 4. Don't need to take a look at the winners on the commodities. Actually, I do want to see if we've seen any turnarounds on Tesla, and it doesn't look like we do here this morning. They did pick up 6. Okay, Tesla in the green by 6, but not in the top 5 or the bottom 5. All right, on the commodities, oil at $74.82 compared to yesterday. That is... it's actually up by about 60 cents here. Tapas yesterday was $84.53. Today, it's $82.50. A little bit of a break on the Singaporean oil that turns into the gasoline that goes in our car. So there's good news there. Buying gold, it's $1,997 flat for an ounce of that. Doing some traveling over the weekend. I know a couple of people that might be boarding an airplane. If you're headed to Japan, there's 133, almost 134 yen in exchange for your greenback. The peso at 55.5, and the South Korean won 1339.64. Real Joe Bitcoin?
It's up $1,400 today to $29,755.
What's that?
All Biden had to do was turn around and say he's running again, and the markets got
no,
fixed.
they originally went down when he said he was going to be running again. I don't know. You know, a couple of things that I've been watching recently, and now we've got some actual data on just what a lousy decision the Dylan Mulvaney cans were for Bud Light. The Bud Light pours plummeted in the first half of April. Thousands of bars and restaurants. The decline in Bud Light pours shows some consumers souring on the brand amid a controversy that has laid bare the country's divisions over transgender rights. Initial data from Beer Board, which counts Buffalo Wings, TGI Fridays, Hooters among their customers, is just a snapshot of what they're seeing. Nearly 3,000 locations that use the Beer Board's data network poured about 6% less Bud Light than other light lagers from April the 2nd to April the 15th after conservatives called for a boycott on the brand. So you do have a voice. You do have a say. People voting with their wallets on where they were on this issue. Now, the other interesting thing that has happened recently is there seems to be some disagreements on the nature of the termination of the relationship between Tucker Carlson and the Fox News network. This interesting information that's floating around here. But if you want to know whether or not Tucker Carlson still has some juice, absolutely. There's a video floating around on the internet which has been viewed over 11 million times inside of 2 hours, showing definitively that Carson can draw a massive crowd even without the network behind him. And So he might only have a couple of people that are doing the original following, but the video, and I watched a piece of it yesterday. It's not very long. Showed that the guy's still got some significant juice. You make decisions on talent at your own peril.
Several of the people, Russell Brand is one, Megyn Kelly is another, Glenn Beck, Bill O'Reilly. Several of them have weighed in on what they think he's going to do. I think they're probably right. They've all consolidated around the idea that he's going to start a Rumble channel. Okay, he'll go. That'll be his primary base.
Right.
He'll take some of those podcasts and throw them into YouTube, the shorter ones. He'll be all over the place.
To the degree that YouTube will allow him.
Well,
the platform. Well, because you know how they are.
Well, they do.
We know how they are.
No, he's been on YouTube for a long time. I don't think they're going to deny him. So he'll establish that base. He'll get his own sponsors. He'll do a subscription channel. And he's going to become probably 10 times wealthier than he was because that's what the other people have done pretty much. When they got away from Fox and from the other ones, they turned into these behemoths, these media behemoths, and just made tons of money.
He will be his own brand, his own over-the-top network, if you will.
Brand said something yesterday. I don't follow him a lot, but he said something that made a lot of sense. He's saying now the numbers, and I don't know what numbers he's referring to, but he said the numbers are showing now that the independent media people, of which he is one, and there's Rubin is another one, and you take a look, Megyn Kelly, O'Reilly, all the ones that have left the big media enterprises and now are independent. He says those voices now are beginning to tip the scales to where their numbers are larger, the daily numbers are larger than the shows on the main media, which means that when the election comes around, it's going to be totally different than it has been before. Fox is not going to have the voice they had before. There'll be other conservative voices. The liberal voices are waning at this point. So the independents, the Rogans of the world and the rest, are going to have much more power than they have ever had before, and they're all sitting back cheering Carlson and saying, "Start your thing up," because that just makes more of them and less of the main media people.
So what I'd like to see after all of this shakes out finally is for Elon Musk to put together the software, the server capacity, the bandwidth capacity that would be required to be able to have these guys do broadcast length shows on Twitter.
Yeah.
I always thought that was where they need to be bending this. So we've got text, we've got people that are doing short form stuff on Twitter, dropping 10 and 15-second deals, 2-minute deals. But I think now we've got to go into program length shows that can air on Twitter, be shared amongst Twitter users.
Does he have the capacity to do that now?
He's Elon Musk.
No,
this guy's putting rockets in space and battery-powered cars.
Putting rockets in space and battery-powered cars may be different than trying to run an hour or 2 hour programs.
My guess is he could handily buy the technology. It says 7:31 in the morning, and that's all the time we've got for Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. If we were to start now, we're going to have to wait until after the news and headlines. With Donna D being brought to you by Rudy Rodolfo and the guys over at Burger King. Got good news from him the other day. You know what May is going to have? I Love Whopper Wednesdays. In the meantime, go and check out the incredible melts that they have waiting for you to celebrate 34 years of BK on Guam. Donna D's bottom of the hour news also being brought to you by, Hoffaday Realty. Find them at hoffadayrealty@gmail.com. Now with news and headlines, here's Donna D. What happened?
A new indictment is handed down against 51-year-old Melvin John Salas Napati a day after his federal drug case was unsealed. Napati pleaded not guilty to the charges yesterday in district court. The case resulted in the feds seizing more than $180,000 in cash, 4 cars, a pistol, and a property in Jigo. He was charged with possession with intent to distribute meth. Napati is now set to go to trial on July 5. And a partnership between UOG, the University of Hawaii at Manoa, and Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard has created a STEM pathway that will allow UOG students who have completed their first 2 years of engineering the opportunity to transfer to UH Manoa and enroll in the school's mechanical engineering program. And students aren't the only ones to benefit from this collaboration. Both Hawaii and Guam stand to gain the engineering workforce they are currently lacking. And Payless Markets will be hosting a job fair tomorrow from 9 to 3 at the Human Resources Payless Corporate Office, Building B in Hagåtña. The company will be accepting applications for a number of positions, including accountant supervisor, accounting clerk, bagger, carpenter, cashier, human resources clerk, IT tech, meat cutter, warehouse person, and delivery driver. For more information, visit paylessmarkets.com. And those are your local headlines. Back to Ray.
Meat cutter. I want that job. How
about taster?
Meat taster? It could work.
No. I mean, just general taster. Go around, just eat food all day long.
What came in the container? What looks good?
That's good.
There's another piece of, it was the grossest thing I'd ever seen, and the internet is kind of flipping out on it. There's a guy riding an escalator in the States eating raw chicken. That's what I said. He's taking it out of the container and just chewing on raw chicken like he's eating potato chips or something like that. I don't know. There's times where I go. I'm just thankful to be able to have the distraction that is the internet, Twitters and Instagrams and TikToks and things like that. But every once in a while, you're just kind of overloaded with images of really, really mentally disturbed people doing really, really disturbing things. 7:34 in the morning. Jerry Roberts.
Before we get to mentally disturbed,
Don't look at me like that.
Sorry.
You looked right at me when he said mentally disturbed.
No, I just
Yes,
go ahead. There was nothing.
Did you want to say
nothing sinister at all about that look?
Did you want to gloat a little bit over the veto override?
No. I only say this. I'm happy that there's 3 solid branches of a government.
Yeah.
I come down the same way all the time. I'm not for one party or another. I'm not for one politician or another. I'm for the Constitution of the United States of America, and I am for 3 branches of government working smoothly and hopefully with each other. I'm not for dictatorships. I'm not for power trips. What I'm for is everybody, including the governor and the legislature and the judiciary, working together, all in concert for the benefit of the people.
Just fix stuff.
Period.
That's all we want you to do. Is get the swimming pool back in gear. Fix the hospital we got. Never mind a new one.
There's a lot to it, and I think everybody has a role to play. I think everybody has a lot of talent surrounding them. Everybody has ideas. What I would like to see, though, in concert with the media, I would like to see all these funds that are laying around wherever, ARP funds and HARP funds and wherever you got. All the money, I'd like to see it kind of laid on the table at one time so we could see it all in one view. Here's what's out there, and here's where it is, and here's what it's earmarked for, rather than keep referring to it and everybody kind of loses track of the bouncing ball. I think that's one thing. Maybe Chris Barnett can do it. Maybe some other people can do it. Let's get the money in the open. There's a
CRER that comes out. It's maybe one of the most difficult to read documents in the government of Guam. I like to think I'm fairly smart, but it takes me a second to get through it, and I usually have to ask somebody for some help. But I'll see if I can shake out the latest CRER for you so that maybe you can take a stab at it.
Okay,
7:36.
Before you go into the extra point, I want you to start a Rumble channel. Okay, never mind the YouTube thing. I want you to, this is a time. Okay.
Oh, you want me?
This is the time. Okay? You need to start a channel and establish a presence in that environment at this point.
Okay. Then go ahead and go along. I might have already looked at the possibilities. It would be fun to be able to send. I'll work with the software guys to see if I can send the stream here to Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Not this.
Oh, not this.
Not this.
Oh, a different Ray Gibson on Rumble.
You need to do commentary, and you need to put it up on Rumble.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay.
Studio at the house. I like the idea.
Gibson to the world.
7:37 on the Ray Gibson Show. Now, Jerry Roberts with this morning's Extra Point. Brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
Today's commentary is one I'm asking you to download and give it to every kid in your family. Also to everyone where you work. I believe it is that important, and it's coming next on the Extra Point.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
Hafide, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Apple co-founder Steve Jobs was credited with being the driving force behind the rise of the richest company the world has ever known. His innovative genius continues to have an impact that will be felt by future generations. Even artificial intelligence won't be able to diminish what Jobs created. That said, maybe a story about his tech beginnings is the most important part of his legacy, especially for our kids. Before I continue, I implore you to go to our website, guamtraining.com, click on the XP on the top menu bar, and then download Extra Point 1310. It's already there. WhatsApp it to every child in your life. Not everyone's going to appreciate it, but somebody almost certainly will. Extra Point 1310. Download it today. During an old interview, Jobs told a story of when he was 12 years old and it gives insight into his mindset. He was living in Northern California, I believe, in the Bay Area. I could be wrong on that, but he was into science projects and making things. And one day he called up a man named Bill Hewlett and asked the man a favor. Who was Bill Hewlett? Bill Hewlett was the co-founder of Hewlett-Packard, a big, big company, even in those days. How many calls did it take to get through to Mr. Hewitt? That's not revealed. But 12-year-old Steve Jobs got Hewlett on the phone and told him he was trying to build a frequency counter. And did he have any spare parts that Jobs could get his hands on? Hewlett laughed. How did this kid get me on the phone? Isn't anybody gatekeeping me here? No. So Hewlett laughed and gave Jobs the parts. Not just that. Hewlett remembered him and gave him a job that summer at Hewlett-Packard. Now, if Hewlett had dismissed the call, thinking, I'm running a serious business here, I don't have time for some dumb kid, maybe history would be a lot different than it is right now. Instead, preteen Jobs had a chance to meet and talk with some of the top minds in the tech industry. Without that call, without that job, does Apple ever happen? Jobs' own recollection of that event came out in a later interview. He said, most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates the people who do things from the people who just dream about them. Steve Jobs, at age 12, learned a lesson that every kid needs to learn. Not just them, but most of the people on our payrolls have to learn as well. Be willing to ask for what you need and what you want. People in our workplaces fear asking for help. Fear and embarrassment keeps people from seeking help from their coworkers. They don't ask their boss or their boss's boss because they think not knowing shows them in a bad light. Social psychologist Heidi Grant says that 75% to 90% of all help that coworkers give to one another starts with a simple ask for it. In his book, All You Have to Do Is Ask, author and sociologist Wayne Baker describes what he terms the giver-requester as a person who helps frequently and also asks for help frequently and is the most well-regarded and most productive person in the workplace. We may feel that our organizations are open and that we encourage people to freely ask any questions they like, but the truth is that most people don't ask for what they need, and this whole concept is not really discussed or promoted. It's more or less taken for granted. If we're really being honest, we don't push it in our families either. Anyone who ever attends a course offered by Guam Training hears the same appeal to take the lessons learned and bring them home. To the managers and business owners, I ask what you would do if a 12-year-old stranger called you up today and asked you for a favor that you could grant. Would you? School is almost out. Do you have room for a youngster? Okay, perhaps not as young as 12, to work over the summer at your place. Bill Hewlett didn't know that he was launching a legendary business career that would truly change the world. He was just helping a kid. Teach people to ask. Help them create. You never know what might come from it. Download The Extra Point today, 1310. And that is The Extra Point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Got to pay attention to the coworkers. Never know what information is going to be coming out of them. I did a very serious side of a conversation. Somebody recently lost their lives down at I want to say over at the port. They were working on dismantling something, and there was a crane. And the operators and the workmen were all saying at the same time that the crane is overloaded and something is going to happen. Nobody paid any attention to them. The crane snapped and eventually killed somebody. So it's important to keep those lines of communications open as wide as possible. 7:44 in the morning, Jerry Roberts in The Extra Point. So I'm going to look at the Rumble thing. I'll look at the Rumble. Jerry Roberts wants me to go on Rumble, and so I'll look and see what it takes to be able to just every once in a while, when I've got a wild hair, go in and take a few minutes of what's going on here.
It's just the time.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a strong voice, conservative or otherwise, whatever. The point is, it's time for someone like you who's got those kinds of skills. I'm not trying to lather you up and down
No,
here.
it's okay. Shine my shoes.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
It's just time to go out and throw a couple of bones on the internet in the right environment and see what happens.
Gotcha. I'll ponder it. The first thing, of course, is we got to come up with a name. There's Ray. And there's Rumble. There's 2 R's. Sometimes that's all you need.
How about Ray's Rumbling?
Might be. 7:44 in the morning. Jerry Robertson and another incredible extra point. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. More on the way, including traffic. So stick around, Brown.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglonia from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Express yourself into the groove. The Guam Chamber of Commerce celebrates its 99th anniversary at the Dusatani Resort on May 6th with the theme of Madonna's Vogue. The Chamber's membership includes many corporations, large and small, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit organizations. Members play a key part in making Guam a star-bright place to live, work, and play. Let's congratulate the Guam Chamber of Commerce and its members on celebrating its 99th anniversary.
Studio time 746-888-8255. Wait, hold up the music now. I got to take care of something. I want to send out congratulations. The graduation season is upon us, and in just a few days, my daughter is going to be graduating from the Academy of Our Lady of Guam, and I know she's excited about it. I'm sure that some of her teachers are darn excited about it either. But anyway, I gotta send out some shouts. Quietly in the background over the last several months, there has been an amount of training going on. Individuals from around these parts working with invasive species detector dogs. There is such a thing. And now they are graduating today, a cadre of these detector dogs and their handlers. This is going to be taking place not too far away on the clock. I'll see if I can get to the details on the wheres and the whens and all of that. And I'd really love to be there. But it's going to be taking place while we're still doing this. So congratulations now to Garrett M. Certeza and his detector dog, Penny. Congratulations to Tristan Lizama, and Tristan's detector dog is named Maui. Louise Marie Baza has a detector dog named Night, who is going to be graduating through the program today. And there's a fourth. I'm really tickled about this because I know the handler of the dog named Elvis, and her name is Allie Worster, and she is a dear friend of mine, hiking buddy, hang out over at the beach kind of buddy, and just a really terrific person. I'm delighted, and I'll tell you. Well, I've got pictures, but I can't put them on screen.
Belly rubs for everybody.
What's that?
Belly rubs for everyone.
Awkwardly long
tummy rubs.
Awkwardly long hugs, I think, is what we want. And belly rubs for the people or the dogs?
The puppies.
I want to see the puppies.
Well, I'll see if I can send a picture to you of all of this. There's some badass looking folks with their invasive species detector dogs. Congratulations. Welcome to the program, everybody, especially my friend Allie. It's 7:48 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Now we'll take a look at what's going on the roadways. I'll take a look at it. I can't put it up on the screen, but trust me when I say it's ugly in some spots, slowing down around Ipao into Dedado. Not so much traffic on Waisang Song, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they've done some refurb on that, some new road work there. Otherwise, intersection of 1 and 3 busy because traffic is backed up practically to Ukadu, moving a lot slower there today. Intersection traffic over at the Micronesia Mall, 16 is busy there. It'll be busy through the intersections in that part of Harmon, and then by the time you get past the Barragata Heights and Reventax and right up until you get to the super happy mark, traffic will be good, and then it will be bad in all three directions at 8, 10, and 16. It is a bloody cross out there. You'll see bad traffic, slow traffic over at the intersection of 10 and 15, and it looks like things are slowing down around the church just before you get there. It'll slow down again, obviously, when you get to Untalon and Wendy's. Traffic on Route 8, kind of bloody in a couple of different directions. Very, very slow in front of the Apicento Garden intersection, and but otherwise, once you're past that, you should be okay. Don't see a whole lot happening on Route 8. Dog and out traffic in some of the usual spots, but the traffic is insane over at 8, 10, and 16, and I think it's just slowing people down to get to the other intersections. Nothing major. Wait, hold on. It looks like maybe a little bit of traffic over by Adelup, and then just a little bit of traffic, tiny bit, over at Big Navy in Sumai. 749. That's right now, traffic. This is The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $4,100 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 671-475-4545, Upper Tumon 671-647-5626, or in Dededo 671-633-4473.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
Cool. I was explaining to Jerry Roberts because he was talking about it'd be nice if we get to just a consolidated revenue and expense report and all of that stuff. And I said, well, there's a thing called the CRER that they publish every month, and I get it, but I can't read it. And Crystal Paco heard us. Crystal Paco San Augustine heard us and sent over a link to the most recent one and the point that just take a look at the footnotes on page 3. Pretty much sum up everything that you're looking for. So I'll take a gander at that a little bit later on in the morning. Ken LG on the way, but right now I got to spend some time with Senator Chris Duenas from the United 37th Guam Legislature. Is it too early to make statements like that, cuz?
Let's get ready to Ray Rumble. That should be your introduction for your Rumble podcast.
I will ask you to record it. Hey, I don't have the dates yet. It'll be sometime in early June. But you think you might see clear to doing a couple of radio shows for me?
I have no problem with that, but if there's technological issues, Joe, you're in charge, brother.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can kind of put everything in basic mode, so it's fairly easy for you. But and in the very least, just put the camera on you and do a show like that. We are, after all, primarily radio. But you've always been one of my go-to guys. I finally got the time and the resources to go and get some medical checkups in Manila, do a trade show as usual in Singapore, and I would be absolutely delighted and honored if maybe you and maybe even Jesse Lujan split some of the responsibilities, but I haven't completely decided yet, and you're always my first guy. At any rate, so before now that I'm done shining your shoes here, is two things. Number one, your thoughts on the veto override yesterday. It was, I honestly didn't see that coming, and I did not see that kind of cohesion among what I like to refer to as the Adelup 6. Do you think there is still an Adelup 6?
I don't know. I call this the Great Reset, and I like the way you've been talking about it and others been talking about it. That look, this is what we needed, because all the junk that preceded it just really threw this whole thing. And you've mentioned this a lot of times on your show. Is just this was doomed from the beginning the way it was put together. But I just am so happy that the body decided that, look, we are the checks and balances. We are the to do our job, we have to have this review process and challenge the governor on these issues to make sure that everything is good for the people. So the Great Reset, I had a good feeling when I came in, because I just went over and had a short conversation with Senator St. Nicholas, and I had a feeling he was already kind of pulling towards, reconsidering his position. And he's been a really solid guy when it comes to basically just taking the middle road. And he had a short speech, basically just saying, like, look, I'm not going to jump into all the fray on some of this stuff, but I just think this really needs a second look, and it's the right thing to do, and I'm just always going to do what I believe is the right thing to do. So when I had that feeling from him, I said, I think we're at 10. I know we're at 10. I had a feeling we're at 10. And I figured if we got to 10, I had a feeling that it would roll all the way through. So that's what happened, and so I'm really glad. Like I was talking to the speaker.
So does that mean everybody's going to support his caning bill or the fireworks thing?
I just haven't seen it. Actually, I kind of like the fireworks bill. So,
You know why? You know why? Because when we were kids, anybody that will remember a certain time in the downtown Agutnia area, whenever we were all of us got together, there was always some kind of either pyrotechnics or pyromania.
Rudy's house. Remember? Smokey Joe's. Yeah, absolutely. And that front sidewalk didn't look the same after 4th of July.
No. Oh my God! They didn't have the quality of juvie officers back in the day like we've got now. But let me throw this back out here for you now, and there might be a couple of litmus tests that we might be able to see over at the legislature. And one of the things that I would like is maybe some forward traction on Bill 83. The ratepayers need the relief that would come with another 5 months of $100 a month credits with the Power Authority. I'd love to see that. I know that there's been a little bit of some angst on its placement or its possible placement on the agenda. But having said that, now let's see what happens if we've got the body together. The other one here, and I'll be more specific, is I'd like to see what the body can do with your Bill 7 at some point.
Well, and I know that he's okay with me saying this. I felt pretty good about that as long as the 9 holds, because I actually asked Senator St. Nicholas early on. And, he said he took a look at it, and he said, it seems logical. It seems like the right thing to do. So I think, I'm not going to vote, speak for his final vote, but I think that it'll hold, and maybe we'll go past 10 to ensure that, when it does arrive at the doorstep of the governor's office, knowing after this experience what happened, that 10 or more will hold, that, if, she'll sign it, or if she doesn't like it, at least let it lapse into law.
Right.
But the bottom line is I really feel good about that. Like I said, guy's got a great sense of humor.
I'm just saying, let's take it out for a spin. Let's see now if there's a sincere desire among your colleagues to be the second co-equal branch of government. For those that don't remember, Bill 7 is relative to prohibiting the suspension of constitutional rights and to repeal criminal penalties for violations of executive orders. There were significant executive order powers that were lorded over the people of Guam during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I think we've learned largely that the majority of people were unsatisfied with that and would like to prevent the same thing from happening in the future, regardless of the nature of the threat.
Yeah, Senator St. Nicholas was at that hearing, too, and he met with, of course, when he changed his mind on the issue of 12, and he saw the medical community presentation on that. And so his main reason for changing his position on 12 was having talked to the medical community and figuring out it's not necessarily the hospital issue right now. We need a new structure, no question, but it's also the specialists and the nurses. There's both hospitals from time to time have excess beds, but they don't have the personnel to have people in those beds.
Ding, ding,
so
ding.
There's a lot going on here, and so he's a very logical thinker. Like I said, he's got great sense of humor too. Because when I asked him about Bill 7, he said to me, "All you got to do is say please and thank you." So I said, "Please and thank you," and Santa said, "Your wish is granted."
Nice.
But he's a great guy to work with, honestly. I know you've had him on your radio station a couple
every
times.
once in a while. But the question that I have, outside of any of this, is why are people stealing his lights off other people's houses? Are they like catalytic converters inside? We installed a light in order to prevent theft around and vagrants around the building, because we're in a certain section in Tamuning and Upper Tamuning, and somebody stole my light that we bought from him, and I'm going, why are the Sakimalanias stealing that? Is there some great kind of fencing network saying, well, I'll trade you that LED light here for a pound of crystal methamphetamine?
Ray, I think anything that's not absolutely bolted down, in a fashion that, and probably got Gorilla Glue on it as well. If you don't have a cop car outside of your house, it's going to be gone.
Well, and good luck with the cop cars as well. 7:59 and change. I wanted to talk to you about the junk car thing. We're going to maybe table the conversation, or if need be, find you later on.
Yeah, Sabina's got that bill, and I'm on with it. We're going to do a good job on that, Ray, and Chris is on there too. We'll talk about it some other time, either today or starting next week. It's a good bill.
All right, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a good weekend, would you, Chris?
Take care, Ray.
I promise. 888-8255. Enough time for me to get on the line with Ken Leon Guerrero and tell Ken we'll call you, and you can call back in the next hour as the program's going to open up a little bit more. Anthony Reed, my very special guest today is Anthony Reed. He's got a new show that they're doing over at Crown, and it's coming with dinner, and it's going to be a good time for you and your family. And I'm absolutely delighted that the guy's back on stage after COVID-19, and maybe we'll talk about his experiences in COVID-19 and things that he and other stage entertainers had to do to keep the lights on when they weren't performing everywhere. It's 8 o'clock. Stand by now. It's time for Fox News.
The Fox News alert. He's given his testimony. I'm Lisa Lacera. Former Vice President Mike Pence has testified before a federal grand jury investigating efforts by then-President Trump and his allies to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The testimony came hours after a federal appeals court in a sealed order rejected a bid by Trump's lawyers to block Pence's appearance. The Biden administration is helping Americans who want to leave Sudan as fighting there continues, but a military evacuation is not planned.
U.S. officials say the security situation in Khartoum, Sudan, and the closure of the airport makes it too unsafe for a government-coordinated evacuation of private American citizens.
We have deployed U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to support air and land evacuations routes. That is something that we have done.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says American passport holders who want to leave Sudan should do so now. She would not detail intelligence assessments concluding a government-coordinated evacuation is unsafe, despite several European and Asian nations organizing evacuation flights for their citizens. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says President Biden's position remains firm after the House passed a measure that would raise the debt ceiling by $1.5 trillion.
House Republicans are holding our economy hostage and threatening default, crashing the economy, jeopardizing hardworking Americans' retirement, and causing millions of Americans to lose their jobs.
The measure, which now heads to the Senate, calls for deep spending cuts, something President Biden has said was not an option. Wall Street had its best day since January after Meta became the latest tech company to do better than forecast. The Dow added 524 points, the Nasdaq gained 287. America is listening to Fox News.
This spring, shop on over to the Micronesia Mall and enter to win. Redeem receipts totaling $10 or more. Scratch for a chance at instant prizes from Burger King or Foot Locker. Or receive a grand prize entry form for our drawing on May 6th for a chance to win a new Toyota Tacoma 4x4 SR5 off-road package with lift kit from Atkins Kroll Toyota. 10 lucky runners-up will get $250 gift certificates from Goodwin Travel and Tour for tickets to Philippine Airlines. Shop more, win more at the Micronesia Mall. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
The white woman who accused a young Emmett Till of making improper advances, which led to his lynching in 1955, has now died.
Carolyn Bryant Donham was 88 when she died of cancer in Louisiana. She was long considered a central figure in the Till murder. After the 14-year-old Till whistled at her outside a store, her then-husband and his half-brother were tried and found innocent of the deadly beating. The men later confessed in an interview they did beat and kill the young boy. Recently, a movement started as a movie on the incident was made to hold Bryant Donham accountable. She maintained her innocence in a 2022 unpublished memoir titled I Am More Than a Wolf Whistle. Bryant Dunn was in end-of-life hospice care when she died. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The CDC's new youth risk behavior report finds some growing health concerns for teens.
The CDC's report on youth risk behavior is done every 2 years, and the 2021 survey of a sample of U.S. high school students is the first one since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. It found increasing racial and ethnic diversity among those students, and that most of them do not meet daily recommendations for eating fruits and vegetables or exercise. The study says since 2019, reports of suicidal thoughts, planning, and attempts among teen girls has increased, while boys' numbers are stable. It also says 1 in 5 students witnessed community violence, and that dating violence, sexual violence, and bullying were more often reported by girls, LGBTQ+ youth, and some racial and ethnic minorities. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The report also found that in the past decade, substance use among the students declined while the use of inhalants increased. A diabetes drug is being tested for effectiveness for weight loss. Drug maker Eli Lilly says the drug helped people who had diabetes lose 16% of their body weight. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
I like giving people what they want, like my popcorn chicken combo. Get classic, spicy, or a combination of both. Because everyone should get what they want any day of the week. My popcorn chicken combo is back, only at Jack in the Box. Limited time only, price and participation may vary.
Since 1997, Island Eye Institute has been committed to your family's eye care needs. From its beginnings, Island Eye Institute has recognized the value in incorporating state-of-the-art technology into personalized care and a commitment to excellence. As Guam's complete eye center, our specialists offer their expertise in glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK, cataract, and diabetic eye disease. Island Eye accepts select care, net care, take care, and stay well. Call us at 637-2020 to schedule your appointment today. We're located on the second floor of the Baltesh Pavilion in Tumurin.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, easy, and secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Off a day, it's 8:06. I'm Donna DeJesus with a look at your local news on The Point. The AG's office is looking at bringing 18-year-old Joy Aki's burglary case to the grand jury after the case was dismissed Wednesday. Aki was charged with burglary in the Wanchai Chinese restaurant incident. 3 minors were also involved. Aki's case was dismissed after Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan determined there was no probable cause, but AG Doug Moylan respectfully disagreed, saying Chief Prosecutor Heather Zoner reviewed the case and did find probable cause, and the indictment will now be expedited. Security footage of the burglary went viral on social media and prompted a GPD investigation. A woman identified her 15-year-old son as one of the 4 suspects. The boy admitted to his involvement. Aki told police he found a concrete block and gave it to one of the minors who used it to break the door open, but Aki said he did not enter the establishment. And the GVB Board of Directors voted yesterday afternoon to open the search for a president and legal counsel instead of conducting a performance evaluation of GVB President Carl Gutierrez and attorney Joe McDonald. Some new board members wanted a fresh start, which means the ability to select a president and counsel. Gutierrez and GVB Vice President Jerry Perez, as well as the McDonald Law Office, can reapply based on GVB board discussions. Gutierrez was initially appointed to serve only for 3 months in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 crisis, but the GVB board at the time voted to retain him as GVB General Manager or President. Director Monty Mesa made the actual motion to put out announcements for the General Manager and legal counsel positions. More news after this.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Lawmakers unanimously passed an override of the governor's veto on Bill 12, the measure that will require legislative approval for the purchase or long-term lease of property owned by the federal government. The vote comes as Governor Lulian Guerrero has submitted an amended agreement for the Eagles Field property in Manilao. Speaker Therese Terlahi introduced Bill 12 in light of concerns with how the lease was being developed. The measure passed in early March, but the governor vetoed it, describing Bill 12 as championed by obstructionist politicians. An override attempt later in March fell one vote shy of passing, but AG Doug Moylan rejected the lease anyway the next day, citing various legal issues. Gov Guam was given until April 30 to sign the lease. And regarding that lease, AG Doug Moylan says the Navy's revision of the Eagles Field lease is moot following the legislature's override, making an affirmative statement that there shall be no lease without their approval. That move simplified Moylan's task of issuing a legal opinion on the lease, which he said his office would have had to accomplish within 48 hours to comply with the deadline. The AG says the deadline imposed by the Navy was offensive to me as an attorney. He adds, "It is a grave concern to me when you're in a civil contract negotiation when both parties are supposed to come together for the people of Guam to be told that you have to review this contract within days." Moylan says the previous lease appeared to be incomplete and did not set out a clear agreement on terms like the scope of the project. And those are your top stories. Now back to Ray with weather.
I'm trying to sort out some of the. Well, it's a story. Joe Pags, we used to run a program of his while he was still doing the weekends here. There's a story on his website, joepags.com, about a trans marathon runner who beat out 14,000 women in the London Marathon. It's a guy and decided that he wanted to run as a woman in the marathon in London.
Wait, what year was this? What year was this?
Last week, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or does he identify as a woman?
Well, we're not sure because just a month prior to that, he ran in the New York City Marathon as a man. So he runs in New York City as a man, and then goes across the pond to England, and then puts on changes his uniform, puts on a sports bra and some Lululemon tights, and rainbow makeup.
When I go to Thailand, I'm a totally different person too.
Yep.
You're a lady boy.
And so there's all kinds of people that are going wait, hold on a second. Now it is not like the guy beat every woman in the race. There were still a significant number of female marathoners that were in front of him, but everybody behind him, 14,000 women, are now ranked one step lower because there was a man
I was going to ask,
running in front of him.
Does it count because he was in the wrong line?
No, well, I mean,
or does he just they just consider it as an exhibition?
London has fallen. As James Howard would put it that way, London has fallen. It's 8:11 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Shall we into the news? Oh, we already did the news. Let's go then into weather. News and weather together on the point. It's going to be great this weekend. Mostly sunny, highs near 87 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 92. Going to be gusty. You'll hear your tarps flapping in the breeze this weekend. We might see winds as high as 28 miles tonight, 30 miles an hour tomorrow, 25 miles an hour on Sunday. This is not a typhoon. It started as a typhoon. Actually, it started as a depression out around Pohnpei, but that blew itself apart. But some of the interstitials are still floating around, and they're making their way to the Marianas, and that's why we're going to see some of the additional winds that we've got for the weekend. As I said, heat index will make it feel like 92 degrees. Pick a spot and in the beach and just grind on some beer and keep your eye on the bikinis, et cetera, et cetera. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:36. Hashtag tell the others. There it is. News and weather together on The Point.
Express yourself into the groove. The Guam Chamber of Commerce celebrates its 99th anniversary at the Dusatani Resort on May 6th with the theme of Madonna's Vogue. The Chamber's membership includes many corporations, large and small, entrepreneurs, and nonprofit organizations. Members play a key part in making Guam a star-bright place to live, work, and play. Let's congratulate the Guam Chamber of Commerce and its members on celebrating its 99th anniversary.
Subway's new Subway Series menu is a collection of greatest hits. But my number 7, the Mexicali, is on a whole nother level with the way avocado meets chicken and pepper jack cheese.
Outlaw! You tell them, Raiden. That's the number 2, the Outlaw Sandwich. They don't know flavor.
It's the greatest cheesesteak hit with juicy steak, pepper jack, and Baja Chipotle sauce. There's a better meat and cheese pairing than that. Shanzi, justify my point, please.
Meatball, pepperoni, and mozzarella. That's number 6. The Boss Sandwich, because we're the bosses of flavor. We're done here.
At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
I love Trump. He says, I will be retiring the name Crooked from Hillary Clinton and her moniker, and I'm going to give her a new name. I don't know, maybe Lovely Hillary or Beautiful Hillary, so that we can use the name for Joe Biden. He'll be known from now on as Crooked Joe Biden. Oh, my God. Bad man, Bad Orange Man is back. Thank you very much. 8:14 in the morning. What am I supposed to do? Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. And then the guys over at Guam Regional Medical City, they are your healthcare partners.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on ThePOINT.gu.
Time 8:14. Hey, stick around. Celebrity birthdays coming up, and I always like Fridays because we got 3 days worth of celebrity birthdays to go through. And you know what, man, I'm upset. I had Frank on, and both Chris is on, and I have not heard the appropriate amount of gloating here in this program. Do you realize what's happened here in the last? I get it. I get it. You know why? Because they had that. They had the thing before where the original Bill 12 went to the governor's office because it had the unanimous support from the legislature. Governor vetoed it when they tried to do the override. All of a sudden, awful a sudden, as my Hawaiian friends will say, awful a sudden, they don't have the majority anymore. And everybody's scratching their head. Is Adelup got that kind of power over these individuals over at the legislature to be able to sway their votes? And what happened then to that power? Did they have a power outage? Was there load shedding of power from the Democratic Party of Lou and the folks over at Adelup onto the Adelup 6? Did they not get their rice bowls filled? Were there parties? Were there Adelup parties that they weren't invited to?
You have no power here.
Is it FOMO? Right? There was a big karaoke thing over at the lucky place down in Maine, not Assen, Maine, down in Anigua, that they weren't invited to? Aces. That's what happened. There was a big-ass karaoke party with Adelup people over at Aces, and they didn't invite the Adelup 6. Adelup 6 found out about it because they were checking on everybody else's Facebook page and saw the party they weren't invited to. And so it's like, you know what? Forget you, man. Forget you. In fact, I'm going to help them override that veto. Don't let me go in there, sing wagon wheel. Huh? Is that what happened? What do you think, Ken?
I think probably what happened is when we look at how many people have been following this from the very beginning, because as you can imagine, my phone blew up for quite a while with all these people calling up wanting to know what to do now after the veto.
What do you mean, what do we do now? No, what we do now is we lean on the Admiral and go, excuse me, now you brought it up. Now let's go back and have this conversation about the net negative. Because there were a whole lot of people whose minds were changed and who became assuaged to follow along with the military buildup when they heard about that 4 pillars deal that came out, 11, 12 years ago? Yeah.
Yep. You were absolutely right about that. What I'm pleased to see is the level of activity among citizens.
This is still not the level.
On this issue.
I'm sorry, Ken. This is still not the level of gloating I was hoping to get from you.
All right. Let me stand on my soapbox.
There you
go. The people of Guam have raised their voices, and the Adelup 6 heard them loud and clear. And that's why we went from the Adelup 6 to the Adelup 0 in just a matter of, 6 minutes, 7 minutes?
It was interesting to watch the count. Adelup 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't know where to. I don't know where to put my classmate.
Well, had she been there, I'm sure she would have been right there along with the rest of the Adelup Six. Now we need to see whether or not that this was a fluke, because we have 7 and 13 coming up, and I'm hoping these are actually more important than Bill 12. Bill 12 just clarified a certain situation, but it really didn't change things for the future of Guam the way Bill 13 and the way Bill 7 will, because already we're seeing signs that, the pandemic that we knew is over, but we're also seeing resurgence, and there's a possibility of other pandemics, including the bird flu, may come back here. And I'm worried that the governor may use anything. If we had an ant flu, she'd probably do the same thing and grab power again. That's why we need to pass Bill 7. But more importantly, Bill 13 reinforces with a bullet the right of citizens to monitor and participate in the decision-making process where their tax dollars and assets, and we're talking assets, we're talking land, we're talking buildings, we're talking programs. Anytime the assets of the citizens of Guam are being put into play, citizens need to be able to get in there and review the process and participate in it without getting arrested.
Like yourself.
Like myself.
I recall a number of issues that were in front of the 35th Guam legislature that they were carrying. There was an Adelup 6 or 7 back in those days, and they were carrying the water for Adelup and now wanted to have cash penalties, jail time penalties for people that didn't want to follow along with the rules and regulations as seen fit by the Department of Public Harassment and Secret Service. And there was I'm trying to remember what it was. It's like, you don't follow the rules on social distancing or mask wearing or requiring your customers to wear masks. There were going to be some very severe penalties, and thank goodness for people like Joe S. and the defunto Peter Terlahi that saw that and said, no, this is not, we did not line up for this here. We're not going to turn ordinary citizens into criminals just because they don't want to follow your rules or take your unity pledge. Anyway, that was a delight to see, and I was kind of hoping that would spread around a little bit more. The same way I've got hope this morning that the legislature will face a couple of litmus test issues that will show the fealty, if you will, to this body, as opposed to an external influence like the governor.
Well, it goes back to...
And I'm trying to be very careful not to use anybody's names when I say governor, because I think that the same overreach that we saw here on Guam was seen in other places by other governors, male and female. And so I just want to be able to say that there needs to be guardrails on all of these things as we move forward with whatever the threat happens to be, and let people make up their own minds on how they want to care for themselves in the next pandemic, in the next big whatever flu.
Yeah, that's why Bill 7 and Bill 13 are so critical for the strengthening of our rights as citizens. Because, I mean, you were in danger of being arrested back in the 35th because you were out there protesting, I
was out there protesting, and I wasn't wearing a mask the entire time. Actually, I was kind of wearing a mask. It was the mask of the guy from V. What's his name? Guy Fawkes? I was wearing that mask for a little bit.
Vendetta.
Yeah, for the V for Vendetta guy, yeah.
Not for something
and
else.
not only that, but you were within 6 feet of other protesters as well, I mean, you could still be up there at Manilo had the governor gotten her way on this issue. So that's why we need to pass Bill 7. That is very, very critical. And right now, I'm working on a couple of other areas where I see significant government assets being hijacked by politicians, and I'm running into the same kind of stonewalls that Bill 13 will break down.
All right.
I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of public assets are being hijacked right now, but every time I try to get the evidence beyond superficial. I mean, a Xerox copy that someone gives me in the dark of night is not the same thing as having the actual document.
Oh, all right. Well, keep me posted on that, Ken. I will feign interest. It's 8:23 in the morning. I'll talk to you soon.
You can bet on that one.
Have a great weekend, bro. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Oh, by the way, if he's casting off some stuff he doesn't use anymore, he's got one of these Canon EOS cameras.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So find Ken LG on Facebook if you're likewise interested in moving in that direction. 8:23 in the morning, and Don has talked about this a couple of times in the news here, and it's something I saw early this morning, and I asked myself out loud at my desk, what the hell? Says here, amid stalemate on review, GVB will seek out GM and legal counsel. And I thought, well, they've already got a general manager with former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, and they've already got some legal counsel with Joe B., right, McDonald. And so what the heck is going on here? Reading into the story, it looks like George Chu is suggesting, starting from the beginning as the board has been trying to conduct a review but wasn't making progress. Quoting here, one power we do know we have is that legal counsel serves at the pleasure of the board. The general manager serves at the pleasure of the board, and we've been trying to do a review and going nowhere. So how about this? To make this all fair for everybody, why don't we put the positions up for a new RFP? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, that was the what the hell question. Is that doable? And I thought, well, you know what? Guess who just came back from Japan?
Bring back the sunshine. Bring back that sunshine. He's bringing back that sunshine. Uncle Conquerors brings it every time.
8:24 in the morning. We got sunshine on my shoulder. Makes me happy. Good morning, Gov. How you doing?
Morning, Ray. Good morning, everyone.
So I thought you and the board were getting along these days. You know, you told me you laid down your axes and your machetes and want to work with these guys. Am I getting the feeling that the feelings are not mutual?
Well, I believe there's more at play here. I remember going to the public hearing for GBB when we were called. George Chu was there, and George Chu at the outset told senators that. And congratulated me and Joe McDonald on a well-done investigation of what happened at GVB. And having said that, he then said that, okay, let now that you've given it to the AG and the OPA and the Ethics Committee, why don't we just now let it lay there and let's move forward? And so
you both shook hands on it.
Yes, and I said I associate because the governor wanted me to work with the board. So I said, okay, I work for the governor as well. And I said, okay, let's move forward. But the situation of this thing is that there are some people who are still sitting on the board. Why is Sonny Ada still there? Why is Milton Morinaga still on the board when they have been implicated so badly on that investigation report of illegally spending $1.5 million with Reuter, with Samson O'Hara? And this board is not concerned about recovering those funds. That's their responsibility under the law. And I guess as long as I'm still at GVB, I am not going to let this thing go. I have responsibility to collect that money back, and if the board is not going to do it, then I will already, and I've started the legal counsel to move forward and try to collect those funds back from what we've uncovered.
Will Mr. McDonald be able to do that, though, given the statement from George here in the newspaper that Joe B. actually works at the pleasure of the board?
Not really. I mean, that's the way it says, but I was the one that hired him. He has a contract till September 30. You just don't kick him out. I don't have an expiration date. Why are you asking me to reapply? You know, and say, well, maybe we will hire you back again. But it doesn't make sense except a power check. And, for example, we have one board member, Mary Rhodes, who, from the exemption, all she does is ask about, procedural questions. She hasn't come up with any ideas on how to increase tourism. Where is the evaluation form? Did you tell the chairman approve the agenda? All of that kind of stuff. And she's the one that keeps pushing this thing that I should be evaluated. I said, well, go ahead and evaluate me by what? Reading the newspapers and TV reports over the last 3 years? Mm-hmm. Because you're brand new. Almost all of them are brand new, except for Sonny and Milton. But those people shouldn't even be sitting there on the board. And let me just say from the outset that motion made by Monty Mesa is illegal. It wasn't put on the public notice of what was going to be discussed.
All right, so it can't move forward. Number one, initially, it cannot move forward because it's inorganic. I'm sorry, not inorganic, but contrary to the open government law. So that's number one. But number two, is that within the realm of the board's authority to try to start all over again? As you say, you work at the pleasure of the governor, do you not?
No, I work for the pleasure at the pleasure of the board. They hired me.
Okay.
And the governor asked me to go to GVB. She asked the board to put me on GVB to get the recovery going when COVID first started, and that was May 2020. And Jerry and I came as a package, and they all agreed. They put us on for a 90-day tryout, but within a month they decided that instead of doing a search, let's just hire them, permanently. And they did on July 11th. And ever since then, we've gone out of our way to do what we can, working with the great GVB staff that's here to recover our tourism economy again. And we're doing a good job. We've been going back and forth, pressing the government of Japan, pressing the United States Embassy, going to the JATA, to the Japan Travel Agency. And so we're seeing all these people, the airlines themselves. We're talking about low-cost carriers from Japan. We've been putting all these together. And all we get is some admonishment that, stop telling us out there that you're doing good. I said, well, we're not doing good, but we're doing better than what we anticipated from the outset.
Mm-hmm. And the numbers bear out. That there have been successes. We're hitting the milestones that have been applied. Still some sticky parts like Japan, but Japan is a very. I don't know that you can apply any of the standards for the rest of our source markets and apply them to Japan. They are a skittish market and always have been.
I know, and I know that Paul Lamont got pretty upset that Monty, of all people, brought up the fact that, why are you criticizing? Why? George Hughes says, how come you're not getting the same percentage of people coming to Guam as Hawaii has? And Monty says, well, maybe take a look at the airline fare price coming to Guam. And you have more airlines going to Hawaii, cheaper prices to go to Hawaii than to come to Guam.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she took exception to that, but it's true. We're doing a look through right now to show them what the prices are coming to Guam. Now, we only have United flying to Guam. And hopefully when Japan Airlines comes through, or we get a low-cost carrier, that it'll do good. But, this is what we're facing. But they think that we're so great that we can outdo Hawaii. Everybody wants to fly to Hawaii. And so many airlines going there, they're competing for the tourists.
Therefore, the prices are going to be down. It's old supply and demand economics here. Now, what about the business risk report that you had spoken about before the whole get-together over at the legislature? Whose hands is that in now? And is there a requirement now, other than maybe a moral requirement for the board, to be able to address it and do something about it by way of getting those funds returned if it's possible?
Well, from what I heard from the chairman of the legislature, he was just maybe hoping, let's just ignore it and let it go away. Well, I have had a conversation with the OPA because he had not put that particular item on his, on his to-do list for the next year. But then I said there might be some statutes of limitations, so he's re-looking at it right now and putting it right probably up in the front. So there's this thing moving forward. They don't want me around. They don't want this thing to continue to go forward. But I cannot let it go because these are facts. And those people you can look at the emails in the investigation report. Why isn't Mary Rhodes interested in reading that thing and saying, hey, let's get this $1.5 million back? But they're all friends, and that's the problem we have here. It's an incestuous relationship over here at GVD with some of the members that are out in the business sector.
I can't recall. You'll need to remind me. Is the full version of the BRC out in the community? I know that there was an abstract that was created, yes. But I'm also told that there is a much larger set of documentation that would more clearly show who the players were and how the scheme was executed.
It's there. It's there on the website, and you can see the emails between Sonny Shelton and Sam. You can see the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh, I'm looking at you on your gesturing.
Sorry, no. Do you like my shirt? I'm sorry. You need to send me a yellow shirt.
Yeah, yellow and orange. But so they have the emails. You can see when Sam, gives a girlfriend of the GM, who's also a member of GSEI, a 1K status, and then later on gives that same GM a global status, which can only come from a director of the airline. These are the things that really, it's a terrible situation that went on, and they're scared and they want me to get out of here, and so that this doesn't go forward.
Do you still have the support of the governor in Adelup?
Well, she at the outset said that she would stay out of the investigation. I don't know what's going to happen, but as a whistleblower now, they're going to have a heck of a time just thinking they can toss me out because I want to recover for the people, and even federal law protects me as an unclassified employee. But I'm going to do what I can for the people of Guam. I've done it in the past. I don't want these guys to bully me. They can try, but they're not going to be succeeding in doing that. I've got the law on my side, and they're not following the law. They're just still doing what they're doing in the past, communicating outside of the open government law.
8:34 in the morning, Gov. I appreciate your time and your comments on this, as I've got a feeling that this is probably going to be the most watched and rewatched portion of the program, certainly among some people on the GVB board. We'll get back to you in the next week, and you can give me a debrief on how the trip to Tokyo went. Interestingly enough, with Monty Mesa.
Yes, and Monty, I can't figure him out. What he thinks I walk on water and being the best ambassador for GVB and Guam, and then he comes and does this. I don't know what his motive is. I mean, this guy's got to, I don't know. I just give up with some of these guys. I hope the legislature just throws away the way that the board is put together by law, and just have the governor appoint the members of the board here at GVB. The way you're doing it, I'm just telling you, it's rife. It's rife with conflicts.
There's conversations going on at the legislature between Senator Tello Taitagui and Jesse Anderson-Lawn, perhaps on doing something very similar to what you're talking about, and changing different approaches to the way the board is constructed, and how their activities need to be out there and transparent, up to and including, look, we want to see your financials. Put you in a position where you're making decisions on how to spend money, how to utilize government resources, and there ought to be some the same indicators, same guardrails as senators and virtually everybody else in the government has. Gov, it's always fun talking to you. Hugging a kiss to Auntie Jerry.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank God for the professional employees here at GVB. I'm telling you, they've been here and they know what they're doing. I think they should be congratulated instead of being admonished.
They help you shine, that's for sure. 8:36. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Yes, that 888-8255, 888-TALK. They're out of the blue, and the cat's out of the bag. Very, very clear that the attempts for everybody to declaw a few weeks back are all changed. You got members of the body now that are suggesting that why don't we just start all over again, and you guys step down, and then we'll go ahead and go through the hiring process and the procurement process for legal all over again, and see if we come up with the same thing, and that way we can have kind of a fresh start. Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's 8:36 in the morning. That's going to be fun to watch as this begins to escalate a little bit more. And I'll see if I can get you links to all of the documentation that the governor referred to in that conversation. Look, our last big look at news and headlines is coming up with Donna D. Stay right there.
KFC's Double Down is back? Double down, double down, double down, double down. Chicken, bacon, chicken, cheese. Double down, double down.
Double down
on KFC's Double Down.
Now on Guam for a limited time and available for delivery. WhatsApp 300-3278 and order online at kfcguam.com. KFC, it's finger licking good.
You're that good. Let me just say you're that good. I got Tom Fisher's Slashes people have reached out to see if we can get some time with him on the radio next week. And our next week already shaping up to be fairly busy. Very, very interesting stuff. We're watching shoes drop here with regard to so many things and conclusions that, man, I'm drawn to make. I try to be an optimist every once in a while. I know it's hard given the nature of politics and the people that are in politics on Guam. But I tell you what, this kumbaya unity. The symbolic nature of sending a message from the 37th Independent Guam Legislature to Adelup. It just it's got me, I don't know, it says politically aroused, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't, just try not to get the visual. It's 8:39 in the morning, and time for our last big look at news and headlines with Donna D. Havadana. What happened?
AG Doug Moylan is bringing the abortion fight to federal court justices. Moylan filed a notice of appeal to the Ninth Circuit after Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood denied his request to lift a permanent injunction on the 1990 Guam abortion ban. Oral arguments before the Supreme Court justices are set for May 24. The High Court requested that Governor Lulian Guerrero attend. A hearing date for the appeal before the Ninth Circuit has yet to be set. And the governor has officially proclaimed this week as Guam Library Week with a proclamation signing. Guam Public Library System Director Chris Sirengan says the bookmobile is almost done and should be able to serve the community soon. And the Moleso Crab Festival is returning this weekend after a 3-year pandemic pause. Everyone is invited to join in the fun. Festivities begin today with a fireworks show at 7:30 tonight. There will be a tuba drinking contest tomorrow. And on Sunday, there will be an early morning spearfishing contest at 6 o'clock, jet ski racing at 10, and we'll close off with another fireworks show at 7:30. And that was your last look at local headlines on The Point. Now back to Ray.
Okay, all right. We're working on celebrity birthdays today. I haven't actually gone over the thing because we've been otherwise occupied. So this will all be fresh to me, as it will be to you. Yeah. Huh? How about that? All right, celebrity birthday number 1 for today. Remember, it's Friday, so we got all weekend, right? Anne Margaret, streetcar named Desire, grumpy old man. She's 83 years old. One of my favorite late-night hosts and the heir apparent for many, many years to Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, turned 73 years old. 70, only 73. I thought it might be a little bit older. Jorge Garcia from Hawaii 5-0 and Lost is 50. Penelope Cruz from Pirates in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah, prima.
Stranger Tides, 49 years old. Still
I liked her in Blow. With Johnny Depp.
Don't remember.
She's what's his face wife? The one who played
Tom Cruise?
Salazar in Pirates 5.
I don't know. You're giving me a headache.
Bardem.
Here's one that's easier for us to remember, maybe because of the classic nature of the movies that she's been in, but maybe also because the part where she's Filipina. Jessica Alba is 42 years old here.
Oh, she's so young.
She was supposed to be a nurse, Ray. But she followed her dream. She followed her dream.
Can you imagine? I saw her and Joe Coy. Oh my God! But worth watching Sin City again, if you will, and the only reason to watch Fantastic Four, if you ask me. It's Child Care Professionals Day. What is it? Arbor Day, Hairball Awareness Day, Kiss Your Mate Day. That's so nice. Here's the thing for Arbor Day. This is an opportunity for people over at the legislature to stop virtue signaling. Call the Admiral and have the Admiral have one of the guys in the backyard bring down one of those Nelsoni trees.
Yeah, bring it down.
Because that's the Chamorro Tree of Life, right?
Yeah.
Up north, and it was. I always thought it was laughable that they had one of these big kind of Arbor Day, virtue signaling days over at the legislature, and planted a whole bunch of trees, even though they knew they could probably get seedlings from the Navy of the Nelsoni tree and plant it there, and say, "We have transplanted now the great Nelsoni Tree of Life, Tree of Wisdom, from the rocky forests of the northern end of Guam to here at the legislature. Limestone forest. Don't worry about it. Everybody makes a big deal about limestone forest and all that. You know what? You just go pick up the rocks, put them in the ground, pour some water on it, and another limestone forest will appear. That's the way it works. A lot of people don't realize that. Jerry Seinfeld is 69 years old.
Never heard of him.
Neither have I. Let me see. We got Daniel Day-Lewis. He played Lincoln. Is 66 years old. Michelle Pfeiffer from the Fabulous Baker Boys.
What?
Confirm. She sang.
She was in Scarface.
She sang the songs in the Fabulous Baker Boys. That was actually.
She can sing.
That was actually her voice. They didn't need to bring in a stunt singer to do that.
Singer.
That was actually her. I always figured she was a pretty talented woman. Janet Van Dyne in the Ant-Man movies. For those of you that are too young to remember the Fabulous Baker Boys, always worth watching. By the way, that was one of the movies. One of my ex-wives. Whenever she'd get grumpy, I'd put that one on. I'd put that movie on, or Grease. Either one of them would work, and then all of a sudden the clouds.
Grease with Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah.
No, the Grease with Michelle Pfeiffer. The original Grease.
Tell me about it, stud.
That one. Eve Plum.
Wait, you didn't say how old she was.
Oh, she's 65. Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch is 65.
Is she Marcia? Or
I don't know. Where's Shelley? Oh, Jerome McDonald says so-and-so is Tom Cruise's ex-girlfriend. Penelope Cruz. Yeah. Thanks for chiming in. Very helpful.
She's Jan.
Vanilla Sky.
Jan? Okay,
She's
Eve
Jan.
Plum is 65 years old. Uma Thurman is 53 years old, and I haven't yet decided. Uma Thurman is one of those people with one of those faces where you go, oh my God, she's just absolutely beautiful. And then others where you're going, I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I'm not the only one that feels that
Do
way.
you remember when she played Venus in, oh my gosh, what was that?
It's okay.
Munchausen, Baron Munchausen.
No, I don't. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's just,
she was pretty there.
Okay, in that movie,
Yeah.
but not necessarily in the Kill Bill movies?
No.
Well, they tried to ugly her up in that movie because, remember, I mean, it starts with her getting shot and killed and all of that in the show. So, and then all of the great karate and sword fighting scenes. Absolutely terrific. Great actress, at least for those things. Happy 53rd birthday to her. Astronomy Day tomorrow, International Dance Day, Shrimp Scampi Day. Oh, I think it's Shrimp Scampi, and I think of my mom. She enjoyed cooking. It was one of a handful of things that she was actually pretty good at in the kitchen, as moms go. Who else I got? Kirsten Dunst, The Power of the Dog. Happy 41st birthday to Kirsten. Isn't she the other side of the kiss that will last forever? Kirsten Dunst and Spider-Man.
Oh,
that's her.
I thought she meant the one
she
from
was
Interview.
in Interview for a Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire.
As a child.
Also that one. Oh my God, there's another one that I'll watch all the time. Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is 38 years old over the weekend. And Travis,
she's Filipino. She's got to be.
I think maybe she's got a touch of Filipino.
Maganda.
Born in Israel.
I need to hear you say "shut up." Okay, happy 38th birthday. I'm looking to see if there's anybody else in there that I've got to work on. No, it doesn't look like it. Might be a couple of things we're celebrating down the road, and if you've got some, by all means, pass them along. We got all kinds of time and all kinds of folks on the Facebook Live. Had not had a chance to go through the list because we restarted the feed 2 or 3 times, but I might get that done between here and the end of the program, because I do want to thank everybody for tuning in one way or the other. Were we taking fire on the YouTube side? Lupang Guam had removed some comments from somebody, and they said, "Stay frosty." Stay frosty. Looks like Ray's taking hits today, and I'm not sure what he was talking about. Huh? It's coming after me. You know why? Because I'm gloaty.
It's the progressives.
I'm gloaty. That's why. Is somebody over at AdLoop says, "Oh, I know. I'm going to type something terrible about him in the YouTube."
So they watch on YouTube.
We have moderators that look out for that kind of thing, guys. It's 8:47 on the Ray Gibson Show. More like that on the way. Stick around, Brown.
Fly even higher and get to your destination with the United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank. You can earn 40,000 miles with $2,000 worth of spending within the first 3 months. That's 40,000 reasons to get on board with the First Hawaiian Bank United Credit Card. It all starts with yes. Certain restrictions apply. To learn more about this offer, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or go to fhb.com/United.
With decades experience in Guam and the region, Take Care members have access to the largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. Membership also includes the high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers and the one-stop FHB Health Center and urgent care. Ask for Take Care. Call 671-647-3526. Go to takecareasia.com for more information. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Portions of the program brought to you by Subway, 8:48 in the morning, and save yourself some time and let the guys over at WeDeliver.com, the Good to Go people. Wait a second, I got to make this right. It's the Good to Go WeDeliver.com website and Good to Go app, and they'll take care of bringing your favorite Subway series to you. Enjoy the convenience of having the all-new menu of 12 chef-inspired sandwiches delivered right to your doorstep at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. Well, this might be something to look forward to. Most of the rest of San Francisco is a crap hole, but there is a restaurant there. It's called Dogue, D-O-G-U-E. Oh, wait a second. Hold on, I said it wrong. They say it rhymes with Vogue. Dogue makes canine-friendly birthday cakes, pastries, and shakes, and even serves dogs a tasting menu. One of the many restaurants that are popping up across the country that caters almost exclusively to dogs. Some 65 million American households own dogs. Per the latest estimate, and spending on pets is booming. Pet products are projected to reach $143.6 billion this year, according to the Pet Association. And so people are opening up restaurants that serve literally dog food. Now, you might be able to go in there and get something for you to eat, but don't expect it to be fancy, and don't expect it to be all that incredible, because you are not necessarily the preferred customer of these restaurants. Dogue is the name of it.
Wow.
And maybe there's an opportunity for somebody out there, an entrepreneur listening to the broadcast, to do exactly that. 10 away from the top of the hour, 888-825-588-TALK. Buenos Zenhofa to Flora.
Hey, brother, how are you? Good morning.
You know what? I'm doing good. Always happy to hear your voice. Another day above ground.
Thank you. You know, you're asking where the gloaters are? Call me in, brother.
Yeah, come and gloat, baby. Yes, let's do gloating.
You know what? I found out that the added up 5 votes to override that saying, that saying that goat says, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Oh, is that what you think happened? They realized, hey, we can do this now because the lady of the house is out of town.
Yeah, since the Goobers of Island, they felt they were not restrained from their vote. That's just how I saw it. And, I was just reading online that Congress, their proposal for the 2024 budget, the absence of Dianne Feinstein, it just so happened that it went to the Republicans' favor because she didn't come tonight to vote.
Right. Well, I mean, she's got shingles.
Yeah,
and apparently a debilitating case of shingles. Knock on, I've never had shingles, thank God, because I do know people that have had it, and they say that it's just hell. It's like having gout every day.
Yeah, prayers to her, but that was just what I read, that just her absence moved this 2024 budget to the Republicans' favor. But you know what? I wanted to say something. Yesterday, I listened to Klitsky on his show, and I ended up calling him because, he said the only criticism he had was that Tarahi was crying during her testimony, and I called him up and I told him, I don't care if she cried or not, man. I love that lady so dearly, and I'll tell you what, Ray, she deserves all the glory for moving this forward, because without her move, we'll be tied forever with a military that will command our lives forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want you to clarify that a little bit, and maybe I was aggressive because it was amusing to me to refer to them as the second branch of the government of Guam, because clearly the governor and the admiral working on this lease arrangement that didn't require, or they were making it so it would not require the scrutiny of the legislature. And I thought, well, that's interesting, and I also thought it was kind of funny that people were making the comparison between this admiral and other admirals and governors of Guam that were appointed by the Navy back in the last century. So in my mind, that was funny, and I don't want my comments and my gritty and witty and edgy sense of humor to come off as some kind of a criticism of the military. I'm critical of this admiral. More than I'm critical of the military. I think it was a mistake for him to take such aggressive action and an aggressive siding with Adelup on this that was clearly contentious between Adelup and at least one other branch of government. I think the smart money would have been to sit this one out. Agree, disagree, those are my opinions, and I know more than one or two people that are saying exactly the same thing. Why does it look like the admiral was going to bat for the governor?
You know what, Ray? I just want to say something, because listening to the radio and whatever media is coming out, that I guess what really surprised me was what I listened to was that the second revised draft was when it was put forth from the Navy. Moylan's name was absent, so that really blew my mind. And if they're going to play footsie with the people of Guam, and then at the same token, the governor and her own lawyers or whatever, if they're just gonna play a blind eye, then they're both playing crazy stuff to the people of Guam, and that was why I had to call in, because it's not fair. We've gone through a lot of what had happened when the military they shipped all their people when Japanese came flying into Guam, bombing Guam. They took all their people out, right? They shipped the family and everybody out of Guam. And what happened? The Chamorros were the ones that were brutalized. So for him to do this, and then also for the government to play footsie with the people, it's not right. And you know what? I really love what happened yesterday. I saw Barnett when he pumped up his fist. To me, he's Ongit Santos's guardian angel. I continue using your Sinahi and buy maybe extra for the 5. And you know what? I want to say something.
That was my joke yesterday. If you don't support the veto override, turn in your Sinahi.
and you know what? But my last one, I just want to say something, man. The Chamorro advocates, they put themselves to shame. They deserve that Mamalaw Chofi.
All except Uncle Robert.
Yeah, really, and including Babakia. I used to love him. I still do, because he has good things for our people. But for him to just shut his mouth, and all these other people that they used to fight for us, where are they? Where have they gone? It's just so sad. But I'm just so glad. I want to go back again. To Telahi, crying or not, I love that lady. I'm telling you, she made things move, and we're not going to stand for this BS that's been going on. But you know what? No more. My head is not numb anymore.
That's good. Well, I just as long as they and I'm optimistic that the legislature is now a cohesive unit. There will always be room for disagreement, and there will always be room for debate.
Yes.
But I hope that they are able to disagree and debate inside the forum, but at the end of the day, be able to stand up on their own 2 feet and independent of Adelup think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and one more, because I did listen to Jerry Roberts about making things move, because I love your show, Ray. Continue what you do. I'll tell you, I just love it. Whatever you do or say, I'm just loving everything. All you got to do is just change what you had mentioned, or someone had suggested. Keep it to the word Rambu Rain, double R.
Rambu. Maybe I'll talk to you pretty soon. You take care of yourself,
Thank
all right?
you.
Have a great week.
you,
888-825-5888-TALK. With a couple of minutes left in the hour, Anthony Reed in the green room getting ready for his return to the radio station after COVID-19. I got word from Sean Gumatautel. Looks like another episode of That's It, That's All. Survival. The effect of the loss of compact impact aid to Guam. Is the topic. This is going to be interesting. Sean Gumatautel, a journalist and stripes with policymaking and observations of the making of policy in the Felix Camacho administration. Also got some rank now in the GOP party here on Guam, and taken on an interesting subject. What will happen now if the planned Biden budget goes through that does not have significant amounts of money? Wait a second. Sorry, said that wrong. Insignificant amounts of money that would come to Guam in form of compact repayments, compact impact money. It's our take is usually between $14 and $16 million, and it will go down to zero. Discretionary funding coming in from the Department of the Interior is likewise going to be going down to zero. They say it will all be offset because our brothers and sisters from Micronesia will be welcome in open arms into all of the other programs that right now are not necessarily available to non-citizens. You go, okay, well, that's good. But it will not cover all of the impacts of compact migration into the community for which there is no way that it is being addressed. Now, everybody says we're talking about it. We talked to Jimmy Moylan about this the other day, and he says, well, I'm working with so-and-so and working with such and such, and we'll see what we can do to add it back in. Of course, the people over at the governor's office are saying, oh, yeah, don't worry. We got this. Shh, it's okay. We got this. And I'm kind of curious as to what the we got this is going to mean. Now, I got a feeling what it's going to end up meaning for us is when we get into the conversation about Bill 83 that would provide $500 credits to ratepayers of the Guam Power Authority over the course of the next 5 months, which I hope they work on today. I've got the feeling the reason why they're going to say, well, we've got to be more cautious with our money. We've handed out some pay raises here, and we're just not sure the availability of those funds. To which I say, bull roar. Maybe we'll spend some time talking about that now. Or I don't know. Like I said, Anthony Reed's going to be talking about Magic and Crown Plaza, where you'll be able to see the Magic show soon. So stick around for that. It's all ahead on the Ray Gibson Show. 93.3 KUSG Agotnia, Fika's Best. This is the headquarters for hourly Fox News here on The Point.
This is a Fox News alert. He has appeared. I'm Lisa Lacera. Former Vice President Mike Pence has testified before a grand jury looking into the attempt by former President Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 election and the January 6 riot.
The questioning was done in private, but Pence said previously the same details he's given to Americans and written in his memoir he would give to the grand jury. The former VP has publicly said how the riot endangered his family and every lawmaker on Capitol Hill. Jack Smith is the special counsel looking into the Capitol storming on January 6, 2021. He wants to get a sense of the conversations leading up to that day.
Fox's Colonel Scott Pence has said his relationship with Trump was close but didn't end well. The Biden administration has issued sanctions against Russia's Federal Security Service and Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps intelligence organization, accusing them of wrongfully detaining Americans as Russia refuses to let American diplomats visit jailed journalist Evan Gershkovich.
The Russian Foreign Ministry says it's denying the U.S. request for a consular visit in a retaliatory measure. It's after the United States refused to grant visas to Russian journalists who wanted to accompany Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on a trip to the United Nations in New York.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. West Virginia Republican Governor Jim Justice has announced he's running for Democrat Joe Manchin's U.S. Senate seat.
I absolutely will promise you to God above that I will do the job, and I will do the job that will make you proud.
Justice is term limited as governor. Manchin is one of 3 Democratic senators up for re-election next year who represent a state won by former President Trump in 2020. He's been the only Democrat elected to statewide office in West Virginia since Justice switched his party affiliation in 2017. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglonia from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Did you know that our liver serves over 500 functions for our body? A healthy liver provides a wide range of health benefits. TMC's Center for Liver Health and Transplantation prides itself in providing world-class diagnostic and therapeutic services to patients with liver diseases such as liver cancer, cirrhosis, and viral hepatitis. The TMC Liver Center is known for the high success rate of their liver transplant program, capable of both pediatric and adult, deceased, and living donor liver transplantation. For more information, contact the TMC referral office at 988-8627. The Medical City, your partner in health and in sickness.
Brittany Griner addressed the media for the first time since being released from Russian custody.
Brittany Griner at times choked back tears as she spoke to reporters recounting her nearly 10 months detained in Russia on drug charges.
You find a way to just grind it out. Just put your head down and just keep going. Just keep moving forward.
Griner joined by representatives from Bring Our Families Home, an organization campaigning for the return of wrongfully detained Americans, acknowledging her fellow Americans imprisoned in Russia, Paul Whelan and Evan Gershkovich. The women's hoop star is set to play for the Phoenix Mercury this upcoming season, and she says despite pay issues, she has no plans to return to playing overseas, with one exception.
Unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics.
Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
The white woman who accused black teenager Emmett Till of whistling at her, causing his 1955 lynching in Mississippi, which helped spark the civil rights movement, has died. Carolyn Bryant Dunham died in hospice care Tuesday night in Louisiana. She was 88. Till's kidnapping and brutal murder captured national attention when his mother insisted on an open casket funeral in their hometown of Chicago after his brutalized body was pulled from a river in Mississippi. Jet magazine published photos. Today is Take Your Child to Work Day, and it was celebrated at the White House.
President Biden welcomed hundreds of children of administration employees in the White House press corps.
It's a good day. Anybody supposed to have school today? All right. It's a real good day then, isn't it?
Before the greeting, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre met with reporters' kids for a press briefing. That enthusiastic questioner is this correspondent's son. Jean-Pierre fielded questions about the president's travels, school violence, the climate, and the president's favorite sports team.
Fox's Jared Halpern. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
In celebration of our 34th anniversary on Guam, BK Melts are now available. Our classic melt features 2 flame-grilled Whopper Junior patties, a quarter-pound, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce on 2 slices of toasted bread. BK Melts are also available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our super fans. Top off your meal with French fries or onion rings and a refreshing Sprite. Thank you, Guam, for 34 years. BK Tumon Bay, Agutya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. You rule.
Guam Regional Medical City was awarded Advanced Primary Stroke Center certification from the Joint Commission. What does this mean? It means our neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and a team of the finest neurological doctors to treat stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC, reflecting our commitment to providing safe and quality patient care. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu or to make an appointment, call 671-633-GRMC.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL American President Lines, global presence with a local home, and the guys over at Security Title, led by the very, very capable Kim and Ron. What's the big deal? You're doing buying, selling. There's a whole lot of components to moving around in the real estate world. Fortunately, they know all of the moves that you need to make, and we'll make those moves for you or explain how you can do it more efficiently. Security Title.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
This is The Point. 7 after 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show, 888-825-5880-TALK. Hold on to that, because we're not going to need any calls here for a little bit. I want to put this back up on the screen. I'm so excited. It's not even my birthday yet, and already the folks over at the Crown Plaza have put together a birthday cake for me. It's got a thing. You can see it's got headphones in there and a thing that looks like a microphone that looks like it's made out of the best part of marshmallows.
Is that your white Stetson hat?
It's my white Stetson.
Hold on, guy.
It should actually say something about Pirates Cove, but we'll just for we'll understand here what's going on. I'm in love with this. I want to say thanks very much to Chef Mark for bringing it into the studio. Chef Mark is with the Crown. You work with Gennaro.
Yes, I work with.
You're working with Gennaro, and did Gennaro put together the homemade stuffing for the sourdough bread that you brought with you?
Yes, I mean it's his recipe, and that's what makes our sourdough bread really good.
Now I want to let you know, because the first time that Gennaro came in, it was a box full of the sourdough bread. So I kept one for myself, and then was making my lunches with it over the course of a day. And a friend of mine had a fondue party. Oh, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm bringing. So I took the couple of loaves that I had afterwards. I took the couple of loaves that I had up there and cut them and diced them into little tiny fondue-sized bites, and everybody was just absolutely raving about it. They're like, Ray, where did you find this sourdough bread? I said, just go Crown. Crown, and Gennaro will make some up for you. So I've got 1, 2, 3 voices in the studio, and among them, but Chef Mark is here kind of as a guest for my next guest, who is Anthony Reed, illusionist, magician. Anthony Reed, how you doing, buddy? Good. Good. Microphones are on. They need to be doing that. I'm glad that you're here because lots and lots of people have left island since COVID-19, but not you. So we'll start off with a little bit of a storytelling time between the illusionist Anthony Reed and myself. There was, and it was blossoming. It was a fantastic show, great family program at the Crown, and a beautiful theater that you guys practically built by hand, so that you would be able to do this incredible family show. And it was my recollection is it was gangbusters. You guys were doing great business 6 nights a week.
Yep, six nights a week and sold out every night. We had to turn people away, which felt terrible. They ask, just put up a folding chair. I'm like, the fire department won't let us, you know. But it was a good problem. And then we heard about this thing, COVID, and I'm like, what's that? And before we know it, bam.
Yeah. Who knew what the worldwide impact of COVID-19 was going to be, and virtually overnight,
I know.
And seemingly simultaneously across the world, all of a sudden everybody went into some kind of shutdown and lockdown mode. And we were told it was going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, which made things a little bit more palatable. But in the meantime, it sure didn't turn into 2 weeks.
No, it went from 6 months to a year. We can probably hang on another 6 months. Let's hang on for that second year. And eventually the reality hit.
Yeah.
You know what? This isn't going to happen. And it just broke our hearts.
Oh, and it should, because I know that there were a lot of people. Another thing about Anthony Reed is the guy, it's like the Ray Gibson Show, right? But I have people that back me up. And you've got an incredible army of people that backed you up for that show.
Fantastic team. And we're still a family. We're still friends. Everybody had to part ways, get other jobs.
You didn't have to move out of that nice house, did you?
No.
Okay, good. So when's the barbecues? When are we having parties?
Soon. We're doing it. Yeah.
All right. So now we got something big to celebrate. But I just want to also underscore something that was important to Anthony, because like he said, we didn't know. We thought it was going to be a couple of weeks, and the lockdowns turned into a lot longer than that. And you get these people that still want to perform, still want to work, and you had sorted out a mechanism to be able to do an internet-based show. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He's making that face. Oh God, I knew you were going to bring that up.
Everything.
Yeah.
Zoom shows, corporate Zoom shows. We're doing them, internationally. But you have some issues with slow internet. Some countries don't have it. There's a delay, and then you have a reaction of people clapping with no sound. It was weird.
Yeah, or if you're doing close-up magic, and okay, what card do you think is going to be? And
it's different.
Yeah, you got the weird kind of
You have to reinvent everything, and I think that's what we had to do. Changed with the times and kept hoping something would happen.
So what are you up to now? Tell me a little bit about what in the intervening time. Now we didn't stop seeing each other completely. I want to say it was Monday nights over at Jimmy D's for sunsets. We'd see each other out there rather frequently, as we were all kind of getting used to what that normal was.
Yeah.
But after you were done, with the experiments on the internet and things like that, what kept you busy in the last 2 years?
I knew it was going to end at some point. So I said, why am I wasting this time? This happened to everyone. Can't take it personally. Everyone got hit with this.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to use my time, and I'm going to dive back into my library, which I never have time to work on, find new material, work on stuff that will work with the new type of shows, which we don't know what they would be, but certainly they're not going to be big shows
Yes.
with giant customer base for a while. So it was more parlor magic, close-up magic, stand-up magic, stuff like that, which came in really handy.
Doesn't bother me because I like close-up stuff, as you know.
So, it's some of the strongest stuff you can do. And that's what makes this new venue unique. It's a new challenge altogether for me.
All right, well, let's we're talking about that now. Anthony Reed on the screen. Now at the Crown, which is steps away from the theater that was at the Fiesta. It didn't geographically move very far, but we've got you on the fancy end of the backyard now.
Yeah, it's basically a mini amphitheater. Indoor, outdoor. It's got kind of a carnival circus feel to it. It's all tent, open air. It's at night, which is great. It's a lot cooler, you know.
Yeah.
But it's all you can eat barbecue. You cook the food yourself, and after that, we have a full magic show. It includes Hank Rice. Hank's part of the team.
Back is I was going to say back in the team. He took over for
Mr. Rob.
Mr. Rob, your physical comedian. Once upon a time, he was fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't know where he ended up. Hope you kept a string on that guy because I thought he was great. Never had to utter a word, but still able to do some physical magic and physical comedy.
One of the best I've ever seen.
I'm glad to hear that my buddy Hank is working as well. There's two of the island's best magicians on the same stage at night. Now we go through some of this. Has the show actually started yet?
It has.
You're working tonight.
We had a show last night, and it was our first paid audience. The previous shows were, trials and agents and in-house guests to try to work out the bugs, not just for the show end, but the lights and the barbecue and the food and the service, But we had our first very successful show last night. It went great audience, great energy. The food was good, and everyone took pictures and was happy. And I got texts after today saying thank you. It was great performance, and we all felt good about it, and we're ready. Now it's going to be time to watch this build up, and I think that's the best because we're still got a little things to tweak,
Well, there's people that are starved for entertainment and looking for something different to do with their families. And unfortunately, since we had the beginning of COVID and our response to COVID, there's certain businesses and other fun things that just stopped existing. There's no Chuck E. Cheese now.
That was a shocker, huh?
Yeah, it still kind of bothers me. There was a good pizza over at Chuck E. Cheese. The only thing they needed at Chuck E. Cheese was beer, and I would have been the happiest dad in the world. But the point is that there are fewer and fewer options for families, whether you're from here, South Korea, or Japan. So I'm glad that there is another family option. Glad it comes with food. Chef will get to that around the corner here in just a second. But I'm just thinking about the staging of the show now, and among the things that are the most important to me is sound and lights. Were you heavy in consultation with people? So
yeah, I brought in Jeff Sanchez, who's helped me from way back in the day. Everyone knows who he is.
He's our firework
guy. He's just a good friend for many years. I said, hey, we got this venue. I need outdoor, waterproof, LED, RGB with a board that's easy to program. And he was there. He nailed it.
Well, he's got some new toys. I emceed the gala a couple of weeks ago for the Hotel and Restaurant Association, and he dressed up the inside and the outside, the foyer area over at the Hyatt, and did an outstanding job and was using some tools that did not exist on Guam prior to him bringing them aboard. So do you have any of those new toys over at
No, we just have good lighting, outdoor, and lots of different lighting cues and a board that works. And we've got good sound. I provide the sound. We've got two nice Bose L1s and plenty of power for that system. Everything in that show is portable. We set up every day and we break it down. It all rolls into a dressing room at night.
Okay, all right.
Which is something I've never done except being on tour on the road. But it's in one place, and it had to be portable, practical, and had to fit on this little stage. So we made it happen.
So we'll work on selling some tickets to the show that you got right now. But you and I are kind of the same animal here, always kind of thinking forward. Will there be another theater experience with Anthony Reid and your crew?
Well, speaking of which, and I'm not to, we have a science show called Mind Over Magic. We did it years back, and we're about to launch that towards the end of this year for all the schools. So it'll be a educational magic show called Mind Over Magic, where it crosses science and magic together. And we're hoping to be able to play that at the old theater.
In front?
And, yeah. And what was the Encore theater.
I was going to say, how much still exists of that?
Not much. It's enough for us to hold a show.
Yeah.
But it's the hotels now, you know. So instead of doing it at, like the...
like at the Encore.
Yeah, it's only 200 and some seats. So it'll be a better experience for the kids instead of cramming 1,000 kids in.
Yep.
Everyone will have a good seat, good expence, and we'll do more than
that
one
was
show
my
a day.
favorite thing about the Encore was that there were no bad seats in the house, and whenever I went, they'd sit me so that I could go and fetch a beer real quick while everybody was on break or in transition. 9:18 in the morning, and the big deal here: Anthony Reid and Hank Rice back on the stage. The stage can be found if you close your eyes and imagine what the backyard at the old Fiesta New Crown looks like. You've got the infinity pool on the north end, and over at the south end, they built an all-new kid pool. And just off that is where your stage is.
Correct.
All right. And now, in addition to that, there's ample areas for people to be able to sit down and fix dinner. That's why Chef Mark is here to tell me about what kind of meals that you guys are going to be selling. Now, that's all in addition, right? So it's all a package.
All one package.
One package. I buy one package. I get the meal. I get drinks. I got magic.
Yep.
All right, groovy. So what's for dinner?
Good morning, Mr. Gibson. And at the Cabana Sunset Dinner Show, basically we have an all-you-can-eat of meat and seafood that you grill on your own table.
Nice.
And, of course, we serve you your appetizers to the table. It's not a buffet style. It's more like served to you. So I think it's better because you can just sit down, eat, and concentrate on the food and enjoy the show without having to
get up and go and move. And so
take your
everybody's...
food.
There was something like that before at Fiesta, wasn't there?
I believe
something similar. I want to say like a Korean barbecue. I know because I've got one of the old tables in my backyard now. It's got the little barbecue pit on it and a stainless steel cover on top of it. And the only thing I didn't get was a grill. But I think I can make my own, so I can have my own Korean barbecue at the place. But now are there themes for this? Is it a Korean food or Japanese food or Chamorro style barbecue?
I'd say it's how to say. It's a little bit international in terms of like the marinations of the meats. You do have your kalbi and your short ribs. You do have also your steak, which is like you have your strip loin that you could grill on your table.
Nice.
So
okay.
I'd say it's very familiar flavors on the island. And you can also have, of course, your miso soup, your red rice, white rice, and all your salads. And we bring it on the table. So
okay. So as I said, a far easier process. Can I hack it? Am I allowed to hack my meal in any way, shape, or form? Can I say, you know what? I don't feel like barbecuing. Can I get a burger from the restaurant inside?
Well, you can always order another burger. We'd love you to order that on top of the meal.
Right. But because we've also got some good pizzas there. I want to be able to. Yeah. See, that's the thing is I will. I see the process over here and cook it on your own and all of that stuff, and then I'm going to look over at the bar over by the infinity pool and see people eating crusty pizzas and all of that kind of thing. So I want that. I want what she's got.
Well, if you love meat and seafood. Well, this is unlimited, so I'd say it's really for something hearty and something really,
Yeah, what's
that barbecue experience. That's what the difference between the Sunset and the Infinity Bar.
Yeah, did they tell you about the listeners here at the radio station? You use phrases like "all you can eat," and people say, "Okay, I accept the challenge," and I will. People will not. They will start not eating yesterday, so that when they show up for the show tomorrow night, they will be absolutely ravenously starving, and will be. They might not even stick around to cook the meat. They might just eat it raw. This is a red meat crowd that we're talking about.
Well, it's part part of interacting with your family or your table of actually cooking it there. And we do have also like a selection for the kids as well. So it's a family thing. You bring your kids and they can grill their little sausages on the grill too. So it's and they have their mac and cheese.
What a great experience. Now, what's going on while the cooking? Because you're not doing the show yet until after dinner, right?
No, people come in. Dinner served at 6.
Okay.
Like 5:45, people start walking in, and from 6 to 7 is dinner.
Okay.
And by that time, the coals burn down and everything chills out, and the lights dim, and the show starts. It's bam. And most people by that time are on their drinks and dessert. And our show goes for about 45, 50 minutes. And
Good.
they have
Okay.
time to get
So
to their bus. And
yeah, or bus or home. Yeah. You figure so we'll be out of there by like 9:30, unless we decide that we're going to go and grab some post game drinks.
I think most people are out of there by 8:15 at the latest. I mean, we're starting to put the show away by then.
You're reminding me now about another thing that you guys did, and this serial entrepreneur. There was a time we were enjoying so much business out of South Korea, but it was a strange kind of timing on when you would check out of your hotel and when the airplane was leaving, and you did kind of a matinee to take care of parents and kids so that they had something to do.
Yeah, there was a time where we saw these people pulling suitcases across the street, and I'm like, what are they doing? What's going on? Oh, they found out they're checking out, but they had time between checkout and getting on their plane. So I said, well, can we grab that group? So that's what we did with Encore. We had a matinee show.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting way to do it.
Yeah, and it worked for a while. But remember, just after we came up with the idea,
bang,
COVID.
How else has this affected your industry?
It destroyed a lot of people. I have a lot of friends who just hung it up and went into real estate, hung it up, and went into markets, insurance, just sold all their props. They just couldn't get a gig. And then the pie got small, and cruise ships were a big problem because people did not want to go on them, which is not the situation now.
Well,
so it's got to come back.
The cruise ships have always had kind of that reputation.
Yeah.
That, if somebody gets sick on the Lido deck, it's going to spread like a cold in the family, literally, and then we will have multiple stories of 6 people on this cruise ship. Which is why, if you've ever been on a cruise ship, about every 10 feet is hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And so, of course, these guys aren't sailing, and when they are sailing, they're not sailing with the same numbers of people. They're beginning to come back.
It's coming back, but now everyone's fighting for that piece of pie. Now, I got to admit, I mean, I love Guam, and it keeps calling me back, and this is home, and will be always home, but there was a small chance of me going, you know what, if there's something doesn't turn around soon, I'm going to have to pack it up and leave. And thank goodness the hotel came to me and said, hey, we have this idea. Would you be interested? And I thought, outdoors? Rain, wind, heat.
Put a canopy over you.
I
You're
thought,
good.
can this be done? And I stood up to the challenge, and I'm glad I did because it's great. It's fun, and the hotel's been fantastic. All the management, the team, wait staff.
Oh, and happy belated
been
birthday to
helpful.
Tom Meyerhofer. He had a birthday the other day, and I hope everybody in the hotel had an opportunity to smack him on the back and wish him a happy one. 9:24 in the morning. Anthony Reed, Chef Mark in the studio, talking about there's a name for this, the Cabana Sunset
dinner.
All right, and now in addition to the magic, are there other entertainment elements that you're
Just the comedy magic with Hank.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a big illusion show. There are illusions in the show. We'll levitate a kid, and we'll produce this, and the girl comes out of the box, cut her in half type stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more stand-up parlor visual stuff that I just haven't done for years because
you haven't needed to. You were doing a bigger show.
Hence the time of COVID.
Yeah.
I got deep in the books. I came up with new material, and now I have a use for them.
Yeah.
I've got a stage and a purpose. It all came out just right. The way it's supposed to.
There's always the desire to see some kind of this up close magic, but unfortunately, we find ourselves on the radio. So I will challenge you because I want to go watch the show sometime soon. Number one, and number two, when I do, I want to have you back so we can talk about it some more. But I'm going to challenge you to come up with some magic that we can do on the radio. That people, whether they're listening live and in real time, can play along with, or if they're watching this as a video on demand, that they can play along and watch with. There's nothing attached to it. He's jumping in the bed. I'm doing now.
He's
ready to go. So along the same lines, the magicians that you know that were able to stay in business and keep things afloat, they all did the same thing or are doing the same thing where they're evolving their bits and their routines.
I think everybody had to reinvent themselves in many ways. But in the States, there's more options. Here on Guam, it was very limited, and with no tourist base coming in, I had to focus on the local market.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for Mind Over Magic. That's for the locals. There may be some tourists that join in, but really, I had to wait it out, and I didn't want to leave. Thank God I didn't, because...
I'm just thinking, I've known this guy for many, many years, and I'm very familiar with his magic and the different vehicles that he's used in the different ways that he's done the magic. And I got to say, it will be entertaining to see you kind of going back into your roots. I remember among the first times I saw you doing, as many magicians will do, as many show people will do, I started little kid birthday parties.
Yeah, I still do them.
I know.
I will not turn one away.
Because it keeps food on the table.
Yeah, not only that, I was a kid. I remember what it feels like to see a show and go, what is going on? I want to be that
Sort it
guy.
out, yeah.
And so you never know who you're going to inspire next. You know, there's kids out there that will watch a kid's show and they'll never forget it. And I got pulled over by a cop for making a legal U-turn that I didn't know I made. And he's got a full mustache, rolled down the window, and he goes, "You're the magician, right?" And I looked up and he goes, "Yeah, you did my 5th birthday."
Oh my
What?
God!
That's when you feel like you've aged.
Well, number one, yeah. This is, how much older are you
you're
now?
A full-grown cop.
But I've got to imagine that the new venue that you're going to be working in is going to line up a little bit more with some of your roots, some of the Anthony Reid roots.
The kids. This is a family show. It's not. We encourage the children and the families to come in because we've got sections that it's hilarious and it's really targeted around the child. And when children are entertained, all the adults are entertained.
So to what degree are we language specific in this? I know that the show you did at the Encore was in English.
Right.
And for the most part, I don't know that there was anybody that felt left out of the show, whether the English is a second language or not even one of the language that they spoke. Koreans were in there with their kids, and everybody seemed to enjoy the show, regardless of maybe an inability to follow it along in English.
It can be a challenge. And in this show, I had to eliminate a lot of speaking pieces and make it all visual. And if it isn't visual, even if I talk, they're going to get it. I mean, they get it even if I'm talking. I could take all the English out and it would still make sense. Otherwise, it can't be in the show.
Well, I don't know that you do that because one of the other things that you developed over the years is a pretty good personality.
Thank you.
And all of that. Well, how's the Vegas shows doing? I mean, you spent did your time in Vegas. Are they back to where they used to be?
They came back. Unlike, we used to have a white line, we had servals and all this stuff. Those days in Vegas and all across the world generally is over. Big Cats, ever since Tiger King, is like game over. I saw that first couple episodes. I'm like, oh, that's it.
I had not made the connection in all of that.
Yeah, so we sent Rio and the servals off to a sanctuary in Florida. They're living it up. They're laying in the grass. And, he's got 2 or 3 acres and a couple females. He's fine.
Did you already invite former Governor Gutierrez to bring the grandkids over and watch the show?
I'm going to have to.
I think you should.
We've got to get everybody in.
Well, because what I want him to be able to do is show up with all of these influencers that he's got. He's got a whole bunch come in from Taiwan recently. I want to say that there are going to be a couple of major influencers and Instagram and whatever stars that are going to be here literally in the next few days.
Great.
And so I think if you're doing the show, I think you ought to make sure that these guys are part of it. And then we've got our own influencers. You know many of them that are still working with agencies in Japan and will travel on their behalf and attend things like magic shows so that they can document them and put them online. I'm struggling to remember a couple of names right now off the top of my head, but I'm not going to. So when the show is on, how often are we playing? How often
Tuesday,
is Chef Mark?
Thursday, Saturday.
Tuesday,
Thursday, every other day. And it's the same time. 5:30, 5:45 entrance, 6 to 6:50 dinner, and 7 o'clock show.
Where do we get tickets?
You can call the hotel, and you can make reservations. It's 646-5880 for reservations, and just ask for the Cabana Sunset.
Can't do it online yet?
You can
That's a
send
good
by
question.
email, fbreservations.cprguam@ihg.com.
Nah, boring. It's better to do Guam time. That's what we need to do. Is just you want to go, all right.
You can as well.
Then we can prepay. Then you can get prepaid. Just take the money up to Guam time before anything else happens. I'm so glad that you and the family are on your feet.
Thank you.
I really am.
It means a lot, Ray. I mean, I'm excited. It feels good to be back on stage.
No, I'm sure it
Really
does. I
good.
know exactly the feeling. After 2-3 years of not doing it, I hosted the last of the GHRA galas just before COVID-19 hit. It was the last of the big hurrahs. Nobody knew what the hell was going on, but we all had this sense like, we could feel the pressure on it. And it was an incredible sensation for the first time to be able to get up in front of that gala crowd and goof off and play with the audience. I know what that feels like. And when you don't have access to it, you almost feel like, what's the point of existing?
Yeah.
And as you know, I was able to direct my attention to going to the beach with my cooler of beer and sitting down in my chair and watching the sunset and bikinis walk back and forth. But you'll also remember the beginning of the COVID days when it was literally just us at the beach some days, right?
And a couple people walked by with a mask.
Yeah.
It was weird. On the beach.
What a strange trip it all was. It actually really, really happened. 9:32 in the morning, and just a couple of minutes with the chef here before we're all done. So I don't need to do anything other than show up at the get together, right?
Yes, basically, just come and.
Can I bring my own tongs?
You're talking the kind you wear or carry?
That would be your preference, but of course we always provide our
Both, chef, both. Well, I don't know. I get these big, long Chamorro-sized tongs for being able to reach across a 6-foot donkey. So we'll see how all of that plays out. And I love the idea that you've got space there for little kids to be able to do all of that. So when the show is not on, when it's not Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, what goes on at the Cabana?
Well, it's actually a rentable space as well, which would be quite good for that capacity. It's about 112 seats. So it depends. We had inquiries as well, and we're working with them.
Interesting. Is there are you guys doing a fire show or anything with the drummers? Boom, 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 boom.
I'd say it's something more specific that they're renting because that's basically our banquet space for the hotel right now. The old banquet space became a club lounge.
I do remember that.
And we have this area.
I've yet to take advantage of the club lounge area. There's one where it's totally outside by the bar, and then you've got one that's just kind of in between, and then on this side is where the air conditioning is. I do miss the big space for the ballroom that you guys used to have in there, but it was always tough to fill, and I remember. I don't know. It never felt. It was always a different experience every time I went in there, and I kept there were things that I was looking for in terms of sameness. But at any rate, so now the outside is the space for that kind of thing. So if I wanted to have like a graduation party or birthday party, or hey, Father's Day's coming up, hey, my birthday's coming up, then we'd have the party outside.
Yes, that's a rentable space for that.
Okay. Now, if I didn't want to barbecue, you guys could come out and just do the regular buffet thing?
Yes.
Or just whatever, a la carte?
Yeah, you could also, it's right beside the terrace, which actually kind of connects, so our main restaurant and...
Oh, so I can go inside the buffet inside and then eat outside, have everything else happen outside?
Well, ideally, no, because they're both two different outlets, but yeah, it's
somehow could. Okay, but so I'm Ray Gibson. I can do whatever I want, right?
But for you, of course.
I'll always just default to that.
Amen, brother.
Whatever. Ask Shelly. Shelly said I could. Will be the answer for me. Now, where else do you work in the hotel? What do you like?
Well, I was previously working in the Pacific Star Resort here in Guam.
Yeah.
And before that, I was working in different hotels like Hyatt and Shangri-La in the Philippines.
What are they telling you? Oh,
and
well,
in Dubai. And I've worked also in Japan for about 3 years.
How'd you get
as
here?
An executive chef.
How'd you manage to bounce into town here?
Well, I studied here when I was younger for a few years, and I felt like I should come back again after a while, and because I knew there were a lot of hotels in Guam, and I said this might be a good place to come back.
Well, I'm glad that you found the Crown. I mean, that's a good spot, a fantastic place. I hope you have an opportunity to spend some time with the kids out at GCC. I don't know if you've heard. They've got these culinary things like every week. What's next week, Joe? Is it last week was Thai?
Chinese, I think.
No, last week was Thai. No, I don't think it's Chinese. I'd have to look at the menu again. Vietnamese?
Maybe, yeah, you could be right.
Yeah, okay. Whatever it is, they're going to be doing another thing, and it's to me, I think it's fantastic because we've got some of these kids, many of whom are already working in facilities. You've got some students at your place, right?
Yes. Chef Paul does an amazing job with the culinary program there, and
Yeah.
we work with the kids and get them, exposed to how a service is. And I think that promotion of theirs for the Thailand buffet,
Yeah,
and
the Asian
stuff,
foods.
Yeah, it's been doing well. I think it was sold out, and I saw.
No, I'm
some-
sure of it. I know they were 50% sold out before 11 o'clock on Wednesday, and I think that's going to be the case here again. Some of it has to do with the fact that the food is good, and we know it's going to be prepared with great quality. The other one is it's a $10 plate of food, and you can't find a $10 plate of food anywhere anymore. That's got to be among the big concerns that you have when you're putting together a menu.
Oh, definitely.
Is how to
I
keep
mean,
it affordable for families.
I mean, of course, and that's our priority. And it's just about maybe creating more efficiencies in prepping your ingredients so that you can bring the costs down, and try to streamline certain things that you would do so you lower the labor, the process, and through that we're able to control the cost.
So it's you're done working for the day, and you head home, and you realize you forgot to eat while you were at the job. What do you cook for yourself, Chef? What kind of sandwich you make?
I'd say I'd take our sourdough bread and I'd grill it with a little bit of olive oil and maybe just some nice cheese like Gouda or some Bursan, something fast, something
right, just
quick
to
at
munch
night-
on before
at
you
night.
go to sleep and start the
Definitely.
process all over again.
A nice glass of wine.
Guys, what a pleasure, and I'm so glad, like I said, that you're on your feet, you're working. We've got another show, 3 nights so far, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. Make your reservations by calling
646-5880.
I knew one of them was going to pick up on that. We'll let you know when it goes big time, and we can go and do everything online. Like I said, I'm going to make preparations to be in and watch the show in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
and then get you back into the studio and yak a little bit more about what you're doing and amaze this audience with some of the great magic that is Anthony Reid. 9:37. The Ray Gibson Show continues after selfies.
Are you looking for a quick, easy, and affordable way to get the legal documents you need? It's ProSay 101. ProSay 101 allows you to create legally binding documents for a variety of situations without spending a fortune. Guardianship creation, name changes, power of attorneys, wills, trusts, and more. Call 800-303-9240 to get the help you need. That's 800-303-9240 or visit PROSE101.com. Don't waste time or money.
Since 1997, Island Eye Institute has been committed to your family's eye care needs. From its beginnings, Island Eye Institute has recognized the value in incorporating state-of-the-art technology into personalized care and a commitment to excellence. As Guam's complete eye center, our specialists offer their expertise in glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK, cataract, and diabetic eye disease. Island Eye accepts Select Care, Net Care, Take Care, and Stay Well. Call us at 637-2020 to schedule your appointment today. We're located on the second floor of the Baltesh Pavilion in Tumuring.
Guam Regional Medical City is the center of excellence for general and minimally invasive surgeries like colonoscopy, dialysis and vascular access, gallbladder, skin and soft tissue, gastrointestinal tract, hernia repair, spleen, select liver and pancreas diseases, upper endoscopy, and more. Schedule your appointment with GRMC today by calling 671-633-GRMC. That's 671-633-4762. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
I see it 20 away from 10 o'clock in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Frontier season. I don't know when this ends as I'm thinking about it now, and maybe there needs to be a little bit more urgency on you getting in there and doing the test drive. Could win $1,000. And if you keep listening, I'll tell you how you might be able to win more tonight. Details ahead. But you could win $1,000 or canopies or coolers, barbecue grills, things like that to kind of fit in with that frontier kind of outdoors person lifestyle that we know everybody on Guam wants to lead. Otherwise, explain why there's so many trucks on the road, and lots of them are fronted. I got to tell you, it was amusing to me. I was at the gym the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I was going to say.
Oh.
No, no,
You
the day
work out.
the day that you saw me at the gym, I was pulling in. I wanted to spot to park the car, And so I saw this guy, and he was getting ready to leave the spot, and it was another one of these Nissan Frontiers.
Did
just
you
like
wave
mine,
at
just
each
a
other?
different. We did. We had a moment. Our eyes locked. We're like, well, dude, we're both Frontier people. This is great.
Yeah.
So that Frontier pulls out of the spot, and naturally mine fit in just like a glove. It was perfect. It was a moment. You should have been there. And when you decide that you want to buy this truck and become a Frontier person like me and the dude over at the gym, then do it. No money down. No down payment is required. Nissan will take care of the first 3 payments and throw more free stuff at you. How about a 25-pound bag of rice and a case of Spam and plenty more? Ask for the car wash and the car care kit and some of the other great treats that come along with your Frontier at NissanGuam.com. Oh.
Hold on, wait for the drop, Ray.
Oh, there's a drop. What have I got here? 20 minutes to kill? Oh, I can do that. That's no problem. So, might have heard earlier in the program, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez was on the radio. And he was responding to questions that I had that are based on a story that might be front page tomorrow, where it says, amid stalemate on review, GVB will seek out GM and legal counsel. Is there skullduggery afoot? Well, according to former Governor Gutierrez and now Joe B., that's the lawyer, McDonough, yes, Jerome's brother, there's more to this now. Candid has released this teaser of a story. Guam Visitor Bureau President and CEO Carl Gutierrez and legal counsel Joe McDonald blew the whistle on alleged multi-million-dollar corruption going back to the Calvo administration. Now its board of directors want to get rid of the 2 whistleblowers, and they're not even trying to hide it. Learn more on Candid today. Stay tuned. The bloom, I suppose, is off the veto override rose, and the next big thing is there. I'm as old as I am, senior citizen, have had the opportunity to play around microphones and transmitters in the media for a long, long time. And I've got to tell you, there is nothing more entertaining than watching Carl Gutierrez in a street fight.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a feeling that this is going to turn into a classic. So as the memes go, warm up the popcorn, kids, because I think this is going to be one to watch. And you got players on both sides of it, on the board side and between Carl and Joe B. And I'm sure that Carl will get the sympathies because they really do love the man over at the Guam Visitors Bureau. The rank and file of the employees, 365-day-a-year people over at the Guam Visitors Bureau, they all took almost, I want to say took an ad out, but they took the time to circulate their comments and their own review that they wanted to give Governor and Jerry. And then, of course, you got Jerry Perez out there as well. Now, there might be some disagreement. In fact, I know that there's disagreement on the rate of recovery of the hospitality industry here on Guam. Pleased so far with the South Korean numbers. Still very disappointed what's happening with Japan. There are members in the hospitality community saying, well, you know what, how come Hawaii is back to their pre-COVID numbers but not Guam? And the argument that is made from people that are looking at data that, well, there's more airplane rides to Hawaii. There's more competition. There's more airlines that fly into the place, and as a result, you've got the magical invisible hand of commerce at effect. And maybe if there were more airplane rides and airplanes and airplane companies flying into Guam, we might see the little bit more downward pressure on the price to get them out here. Plus, there's that, and then you look at the market. The Japanese have always been kind of skittish. I remember when we had the Twin Towers got knocked down. They tried to take out the Pentagon, and the Japanese stopped flying. And the question was, well, what happened to tourism? And they said the thinking from the observers in that source market was that they, out of respect for what was going to be a period of mourning for the United States after that dastardly attack, they decided that, well, stay home. Maybe we'll go someplace else closer to home and leave the Americans to deal with what they've got to deal with, including the ones here on Guam. Quarter away from the top of the hour. Well, that's going to be, like I said, very, very interesting to watch. Keep your eye on that. One of the headlines this morning that I have not yet had an opportunity to talk about here is to mourn the death of talk show host Jerry Springer. He died at the age of 79 years old. They say it was a brief illness, possibly pancreatic cancer. Hate that. And so to the degree that the show was interesting and could get kind of bombastic in a very planned and orchestrated kind of way, that was an interesting show. And I know that there were a lot of people that would watch it just to see how bombastic they were going to get today. And sometimes that's the way you do entertainment. And so to the fans of Jerry Springer, I say, oh, well. There goes another one, and take care of your own selves. There's a couple of things that I wanted to make sure I got off before we're all done. Is a reminder, you want to win money tonight? VFW, bro. Oh, yeah. VFW. Go there and sign up. You could win.
Almost $2,000?
It's almost $2,000. $1,445 is in the jackpot today. So you could win that money, and maybe we'll see each other in Bonifacio Global City after I'm done with my my medicu when I go out there. But by all means, if you're looking for something to do tonight, by way of getting yourself ready, you win $1,400, then to head down to Molesso. What's going on down in Molesso? And I promised the mayor that I'd keep yakking about this because those are my people too. We've got happening this weekend the Crab Festival starting today. Yes. Concessions will be open. There's going to be a softball tournament. Where we got here? Guma Ninaan Ansolati is going to be performing, and the Island Kai's band. Hope I said that right. It is Island, right?
I think so.
Okay, very good.
Sounds familiar.
Tomorrow at noon, the concessions will open again. They'll have a Taladza throwing and tuba drinking contest. Skip Entertainment is going to be there. Isagi Isla Band, Bright Eyes. Talent Box is going to be performing tomorrow. If you have not recently seen Talent Box, they will blow you away. The music is incredible. All of the choreography, from the little shrimpy Talent Box kids all the way to the high school age ones, amazing. And if you've got, when you clap, throw money as well. Because they've got a team of dancers that's leaving Island soon.
Oh yeah,
and they're still they're still kind of raising funds for that. So if you're digging the performance, do it for everybody, but in particular Talent Box, make sure that you clap extra loud with your $20 bills. Big Bet are going to be performing tomorrow night. Sunday is going to be where the real fun stuff is going to be. This one will take you back to the old Fiesta and Tossi days. You remember when we'd all go down there and watch jet skiers doing their thing?
Yeah.
On the old school jet skis.
The race boats.
Remember, old school jet skis with this the one where the handlebar goes up and down? And you weren't driving it like a motorcycle? That took skill.
Super jet.
Oh, my God. And I never had that skill. But we'd go down there and watch, was it Lonnie, I think, was one of our workmates from over at Cable TV, and go watch her because she was award winner at all of that. So jet ski racing, spearfish competition. There's another Taladza and tuba drinking competition, crab catching. Will be at 4 o'clock.
That's us, Ray. That's you and me, dude.
Crab catching will be at 4 o'clock.
No, we could join and see how many we get in the bag.
Not only no, but hell no. I've seen that kind. Those
picture,
and they're mean. They're like the brown tree snakes of crabs. They're mean.
That's angry landowner.
They're coming at you like this already. The claws, they're out there, and they're look. I'm here to bite something. And it's always kind of interesting to see people go down there. I would recommend to my military friends that are listening to the broadcast here today. You need to do this. This is a must do while you are here on Guam. Number one, you're right there down south. It is a completely historic district that they've got down there. All kinds of really, really, really nice people. Beautiful view, depending on where you are. You got Cocos Island right there, and there's some good beach spots. Don't forget to take your picture with the Valentine. You know what I mean? There's a lot to do there. But if you really, really want to feel like you've been a part of the culture, then you need to be at the crab catching contest. They will give you a bucket or a bag, and then they will give you special protective gloves. No, they don't. I'm kidding.
Tongs?
I'm leaving that. No tongs.
Gotta be bare hands.
It's barehanded. You need to pick them up with your bare hands and put them into the bag. Yes, and
I touch. Oh my God!
This is exactly what we mean when we do this. But it is a completely unique experience. Is my point. It is not duplicated by any other village. May not be duplicated on any other island that you may find yourself. So if you want to leave Guam, saying that you did everything that there was to do on Guam, I'd have a couple of cold ones, and gird your loins, and be prepared for the ride, literally, of your life. And not to put too much pressure on you big badass military guys from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guards, but you will be joined by little kids from Molesu who know how to do this from birth. You get kids from the South, and they've forgotten more about tomorrow-style living than I will ever know, and that is among the things that they're very, very good at. Did I ever tell you about my neighbor?
Will?
James.
Oh.
No, my neighbor James. And
Neighbor James.
Brother James was from the South. He was from Molesu. And I remember one day, I can't remember the name of the animal. It was a big kind of, I want to say coconut crab-ish looking animal. And so I trapped it in a 55-gallon Rubbermaid trash can. And I called him. I said, Brother James, come on up. And so he comes up. He said, what you got? I said, there's a crab in here. And he didn't even look. He looked the other way. He reached in because he couldn't put his whole body into it. So he cranes his neck to the left, and with his right hand reaches in and grabs the thing.
Oh, the old no look.
Yeah, grab this massive crab, and big, huge pincers on the thing. And I'm
faith in that man.
Exactly. And all I can think of is, I used to consider myself a manly man. I always thought I had all of the fun, correct masculine parts that, but no.
Oh, my God. He's
somebody
toxic, Ray.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity.
Brother James, I still remember. Crab catching, 7 o'clock, fireworks for everybody. They're going to have a raffle drawing. And then they're going to close the event on Sunday night with my favorite party band, Mixed Plate, are going to be there.
Yeah.
And that is another one that you've got to do. Yes, you have to do all of that. Let me see. I'm looking at somebody sending me responses to one of the things that I was talking about earlier. I do want to make sure that this gets out. There are a lot of things that are going on. I feel bad because I'm not able to put the memes on the screen for you to see. But there's a couple of things that are down the road that I want to at least let you know about. May the 6th. There is going to be a thing called Support the Stoke. It will be at the venue. Raffles, food. They'll be playing surf movies, and you will be able to hear some cool surf music. Venue, May the 6th, 6 until 10. Big fundraiser. You want information on this, find Michelle Peer, and she'll let you know all about it. Today is also National Superhero Day. Do you realize that, Real Joe?
I didn't know that,
Set aside a day just for us. So take the kids to the Micronesia Mall dressed as their favorite superhero and get a $10 Foot Locker gift certificate, a gift card that you can use. All right, $10 Foot Locker gift cards. Kids always need to put some shoes on, and that's a good place to do that. Oh, you're my hero. National Superhero Day happening today over at the Micronesia Mall. And this weekend over at GPO, I guess it's time for this again. Todo Guam Foundation. Yeah. Let me see. The Rodriguez clan putting this together.
D-Rod.
Yeah, it's his family. So they've got a Relay for Life fundraiser that is going to be taking place today over at GPO. 20% off your purchase at Panda Express. GPO will be donated to, okay, I see what's that. 20% of your purchase at Panda Express GPO will be donated to Relay for Life Guam. Again, it's going to be taking place today at Panda Express, only at GPO. Please support Team Todo Guam's efforts to raise funds for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life 2023 event. Did we do a Relay for Life last year?
I don't think
Was
it was.
there a
I think it was
COVID?
online, Ray.
Yeah, it was a drive-by.
We did laps
It was
online.
a drive-through relay for life. I honestly don't remember. It was only a year ago. You'd think I'd remember better than all of this. All right, here's another one of those things. Is Relay for Life. It's another kind of one of these corporate must-do deals. So get a hold of somebody over at the where's the Cancer Society and find out what it's going to take to become a Relay for Life participant. Now, I will tell you right now that you are going to be in competition, obviously with Todo Guam Foundation. Bank of Guam absolutely takes the Relay for Life very, very seriously and probably started campaigning to raise funds for them for this particular event, probably January the 1st. So be on the lookout. Anyway, 9:55 in the morning, we'll get more details on when the next Relay for Life is going to be, and somebody will remind me what has been done in past about the Relay for Life. Jose Martinez says, I've cited Panglao crossings in Roy T. Demion Street. Some nights, usually one at a time, but they have them around MTM. Yeah, I catch that every once in a while. In a Lahan Fiesta and concert going on this weekend as well, says Anna Delgado. Joe D's online. Bunker says, I raced those days on stand-up back in the old Fiesta and Tossie days that I was referring to. That's nice. Jerome says, Carl Gutierrez will shine the spotlight. Well, that will be interesting. Jose Tetpago says, do a GoFundMe for Guam's compact impact. Yeah, we spent some time talking about that. Jose Tetpago, even Vanessa Del Rio. Ooh, Maganda. Oh, Maganda. Wasn't that a bar?
Never heard of her.
Uh-huh. I can vouch for the pet spending increase, says Nate Horn. Absolutely. 888-8255. Some interesting commentary that we've had over the course of the morning. When I return, or do I need to break?
I don't know. It's Island Girl Power. It's Juanita. She's
Yeah, the answer is yes. Whatever you got going on, Juanita, you know the answer is always going to be yes on airtime. What's up? Hey, Langit. Press the button, Rick.
Hey, it's Friday.
I know.
So I just wanted to call in. It's been a while. We have our Island Girl Power Corazon is Sing Song thrift store in Dededo. Why Sing Song Dededo?
Well, with the new road. You got a new road in front of you now, right?
Yeah, the new road, and people are really happy to be driving faster. But it's nice for us, that travel the road every single day.
Yeah.
So we're really, really pleased with the progress. But our thrift store has limited hours, and so we're open on Fridays from 10 to 1:30 and on Saturdays from 8 to 4.
Is it limited hours because you just don't have enough kids to man the place, or what?
It's about adult supervision. And it's about adult volunteers, cashier jobs, and volunteers to help man and woman the donations.
Okay, so you know what we're going to need to do? We're going to need to do a reset because, COVID-19 is, and you're coming back into the light here like everybody else is. So I think maybe one of these days I'll get you into the studio so we can, tell a whole bunch of new listeners what Island Girl Power is about, the programs that you've got for the kids, different ways that you're raising money and different things that you need to do in order to keep raising money. I mean, this is like Juanita's labor of love, doing it, 25 years now or something like that?
23 years. And just to put a rumor to rest, I guess, Island Girl Power is not the ones that run the Island Girl coffee shop.
You know what?
I get phone calls all the time. Do you have any job openings?
Take the compliments because you and your girls are beautiful, and the girls in the Island Girl coffee shops are likewise quite beautiful. Maybe we reach out to the owners and look if you want to capitalize on the connections. Then by all means, get you some.
Well, I think there are a couple of things we definitely will change if that happens.
Okay, well we'll talk about that down the road. So, but you're open this morning and like right now, and if you want to volunteer and be a part of a great volunteer organization that frankly the job that they do, opening doors for young women, hell, exposing young women to doors that they don't even know exist, then find me and I'll get you in touch with Juanita from Island Girl Power, and you can get your volunteer on with her.
Absolutely.
Happy to help you. Joe, do me a favor. I'm going to put her on hold. Grab that number. Make contact with her, and we'll see if we can get her back into the studio to spend a little bit more time, a little bit more of an elongated conversation about why Island Girl Power is so important. It's 10. We're Pika's best. KUSG Agana. Have a killer weekend. See you Monday.
seekers. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Biden administration taking steps ahead of the expiration of a COVID-era health restriction, which reduced the number of people attempting to cross the southern border.
Migration centers will open in Colombia and Guatemala as part of the administration's response to an expected surge of